for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's a hump day. It's a Wednesday here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire, proudly serving the Midwest for 75 years. I'm Austin. He is Jay Foreman, back in the hot seat. Lots to get to across sports. Obviously, Husker hoops, Husker football as well, the NBA, the NFL, and plenty more. Your thoughts, your comments all show long. Go to 402-464-5685, our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line, or drop a comment on our Sartor Heyman Jewelers live video streams. Jay, we did it for the first time in about 150 hours. Lincoln, Nebraska is out of freezing temperatures.
Yeah, I know, man. And the sun's out. No wind, too.
How about that?
Everybody needs a little break. Hopefully it spreads throughout the nation, man. There's a lot of people across the nation are still shut down.
It's always brutal when that happens. Heat is bad.
When you're not when you're not prepared for it, sure.
But how much can some of these cities really prepare for it? It happens once every few years.
You always got to have something in the reserve. And they just can't handle it. Trust me, I used to live down there. You get a little bit of freezing cold, you just done for the whole week. No school, no nothing.
But even like D.C. still having issues. They deal with it all the time.
The streets are too condensed. You can't get in there, man.
Tough.
They'll be all right, though. They'll battle through it. You'll be all right.
Speaking of battling through it, Jay, Nebraska men's basketball almost battled through the adversity of no Rink Mast and no Brayton Frager. They fall 75-72 to Michigan yesterday. Rink Mast gave warm-ups a try at a couple different points, and then about 12 minutes before the game, Fred Hoiberg and Rink Mast had a conversation. Rink Mast wasn't able to keep even any water down, so he was not present with the team then during the game. Frager didn't travel and make the trip. Cale Jacobson gets the spot start. Nebraska leads by as much as 11, but ultimately Michigan wins the game by 3. Your reaction to the Huskers and Wolverines last night?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game. I mean, look, you're going into the Lions' den. You're well aware, or they're well aware of you, and you're on the radar. Number 3 against number 5, and you're going to get their best shot. And Nebraska, played well enough to win. Obviously, just lost a little bit of the game that probably last 3 or 4 minutes. Control of the game, that is. I mean, Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska proved themselves or hey, look at us, we're actually pretty good. They're just out there just doing what they do.
Oh yeah.
So I was never worried. I felt like it was a little disrespect, and I could understand that the spread because, somehow they probably figured Frager was either not going to play or be compromised.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously when the news started to come out, and maybe they knew prior, because there was people saying that Rink was a little bit under the weather even up in Minnesota. So,
Mhm.
all right, well then how much can he recover in 2.5, 3 days? Maybe that's the reason why the initial spread was 10.5 or whatever it is. I don't
Mhm.
really get into it, but Nebraska found a way. I mean, if you thought that Fred was going to go all the way up there to Detroit, Ann Arbor, or whatever, wherever they flew into, and just be like, "Oh man,
Don't act like you don't know. You almost went there.
yeah," but I'm saying I don't know where they flew into. I know you got to fly into Detroit, and then you got to drive to Ann Arbor. I don't know if they fly private and fly into Ann Arbor, and like, oh, we're not going to be prepared. We're this is okay that we're going to. Then you don't know Fred, and you
Mhm.
don't know this team,
Mhm.
and they handled themselves accordingly. You know, I guess last night on a Tuesday, having that, you have you have the hottest team in the nation in Nebraska, the best story of the year in Nebraska,
Mhm.
up to now probably the odds-on favorite as the best looking and complete team from game 1, in this case, the game 21 in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
That's who's looked the best all year, from start to finish, preseason rankings. Right, you probably say Michigan.
Yeah.
Arizona maybe, or what?
Yeah.
A lot of people say Michigan. Between the announcers on Peacock were flat out horrible. Stukakis or whatever your name is,
Stauskas.
you were horrible. I remember you as a player. You were garbage then too, and I hope you listen to this.
There's a reason you ended up in Sacramento. Am I right?
And then on top of it, the choppy reffing and missing easy calls. And I know it's whether you want to call it home cooking or not, but there's some that were they got duped. There's a play that I don't even think anybody even talked about. I think Price Sanford, got called for a travel.
Yeah. A little bump on that one.
It wasn't a bump. It was like an old school. It was a move that somebody does at like LA Fitness. Oh, you're driving? I'm just going to pull your jersey. That's not a foul. And the ref looking right. All that type of stuff. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, we just weren't able to kind of create our own shot when we need to. Michigan did a really good job defensively with extending their size outside of the paint, which then nullified any of the actions you wanted to do. Like they made a couple shots in the last like 4 possessions, but the last 2 they really kind of came out of the lane because they didn't fear anybody getting downhill.
Right.
But then you can think, okay, that's where Frager would be if he was playing, or if Rink was able to play, they couldn't do that.
Right.
And so it's just a byproduct of it. And it was all set up by the drive down there on the or mischarge, whether you want to say he was there or not. Or, I mean, I look at the charge like this. This is how I look at it. I felt like Sam got outside of and he was outside of the lane. That's number one. Now, if you want to, was he set for another half second? That's fine. I look at it. The offensive player dipped his shoulder into him. So then that leads me to supercharge call for me.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because and we've seen him one where we didn't like the charge call, where you get it and you get the ball and you're just turning up to shoot and you're not dipping into him. He dipped into him and he got smoked. He's tough though. As much as I said that, I seen a little rocked up Sam. I hope you listen. You a little jacked up little dude. I'm about to get on your body by Sam workout. I got to start getting my muscle mass back. You can play a little safety, homeboy. I know you tough. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you want him at safety or you want him at like nickel?
That's the same.
Okay.
He'd be a nice little nickel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll blitz him off the corner.
Oh, heck yeah.
But I wonder if Fred ever played football. He must get his toughness from his mom. I might have to ask
Fred might take umbrage with that.
I'm going to ask Fred. Fred, I know you was a tough cookie, man. You know what I mean? You tough as nails. I remember when you came over there and you lit us up a couple times. Everybody screaming the mayor and stuff, them ugly uniforms. I remember that.
Red and yellow.
But I ain't never seen no Sam. Sam, man, I mean, he got that Barry White voice and he ain't backing down from any. I mean, that's all right, though. But you know what, man? It's
a friend of the show, Big Game Bigelow, said Fred played quarterback at Ames High. Had an offer from Tom Osborne, in fact.
You know what? I remember that.
Thanks, Biggs.
I do remember that. Big Bigelow came back. Hey, listen. Bigelow, if you're listening, is he listening?
He must be. He just texted me.
My man came. He's like. You ever watch the movie Usual Suspects with Kaiser Soze?
Oh yeah.
And there's like boom. He's just He disappeared in all these different places. That's him on Twitter or X. He came back and
he started the Stauskas thing on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, where am I right now? I said, I wanted to say Stauskas. I wanted to send Stauskas a DM. Listen, if Bigelow is on you, this is not going to work out well for you.
Do you know who you're dealing with?
Listen,
clearly you do not.
He's got intellectual intelligence, got a little bit of game to him, and then he just got the pettiness on 1,000. This not for you. Just called a horrible game. You compared yourself to Price. You couldn't have said McDermott in recent, right? Kind of, right? Even though their games were different, but you know the ability to come down and shoot three.
Corey Kispert.
You could have done. I was just about to say him. You could have even said Kyle Korver, right? You could have said that.
The Iowa guys.
You could even
you just said his brother.
You could have done that. You could even have been nice and just said, you know what, we're going Caucasian. You could have even said Hauser. Because he just hit the three down in Chicago. Or you could have even said, you could even said, you know what, man, I'm gonna do a little history and just do Rifleman Chuck Person.
There we go.
Because that's how quick Price Sanford shot is.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you didn't choose any of those.
You chose yourself. That's the best you could. That's the notes that you have. You know those big old like rectangle things they got.
Oh yeah.
NBA comparison, me. Big Ten comparison, double me. Life comparison. Man. He's shooting to be me.
Tough scenes.
Yeah.
Tough
scenes. But either way, I mean, it was a good game, and Nebraska is tough, and now they got to come back and get happy and healthy. Hopefully, Rink is on the mend, and if not, they got to go. They got a big game come Sunday, 3:00.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying Nebraska should have won that game. They could have, and they would have. They could have they would have if not for whatever. Because Jay, if you score 50 points in a half and you allow 27 and a half, you're going to feel pretty darn good about your chances to win in the Big Ten. But the flip side of that is if you only score 22 and a half and you allow 48 and a half, you're not going to win many games like that in the Big Ten. It really was a tale of two halves. And here's the thing. Nebraska was good. Nebraska played well. Maybe their best performance in Ann Arbor. I know they won there for the first time in the final year of Juwan Howard's tenure. They beat that really bad team by 15 points. You can argue this was a better performance by Nebraska, especially considering the circumstances.
And they got busy early.
They did. But here's the thing. Nebraska was good. Nebraska wasn't great.
No.
They forced a bunch of turnovers, 19 turnovers, Jay, but they only scored 11 points off of them. On the flip side, Nebraska only turned it over 11 times. Michigan got 17 points off of them.
Yeah, and that's the game.
You didn't get murked on the offensive glass. You only had 2 fewer, but you get 7 offensive rebounds for, I think, 5 or 6 second chance points. Michigan gets 9 for 14 points. And Nebraska actually ended up taking 10 more field goal attempts than Michigan did, made 4 more shots. So you can point to the free throw disparity in the fouls, and I won't argue that was not a factor. Sure, it plays into it. But Nebraska had its opportunities. They hit a bunch of threes, but just not quite as many as Wisconsin. It would have taken that 1 or 2 more to break the game open. They got to the paint enough. I mean, 32 points in the paint against the best 2-point defense in the country. But I think sometimes Nebraska is maybe trying too hard to make the exact right play. You can challenge shot blockers in 2 ways. Number 1, shoot over them from three-pointer for the mid-range, or go into their chest and draw fouls. That's never been Nebraska's strategy, to go to their chest and draw fouls. Nebraska shoots so few free throws as a team. That's who they've been under Fred Hoiberg. And I think Nebraska passed up some of those decent mid-range looks to try to work for an extra look at 3, which I love trusting the process in the big picture. That might have been the game where you needed, 1 or 2 more mid-ranges from Jamarcus Lawrence or Price Sanford, like Cale Jacobson did on the Steve Nash dribble, where he picked and popped it over a Daimara. And even you're up 11 in the first half. That's a good lead. That's not an insurmountable lead. You're up 7 with 7 to go on the road. That's a nice lead, but that's still a tight game. Nebraska played well, but Nebraska, that effort probably beats a top 10 or top 15 team. It doesn't beat a top 5, potentially top 3 team.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. There's probably when you lose a game like that and you feel like, I think as a player, and for me watching it, I mean, I think, Nebraska had the lead, for
36 minutes.
But obviously the majority of the game. So that's why I think you say we should have, or we played well enough to win. Now, what you didn't do is you didn't finish down the stretch. And that's where sometimes you as a player, as a leader, you have to understand the situation. And this is an odd situation for everybody involved. right? You're going up there on the road. You don't have two of your bell cows, and especially one in rink.
It's your first time dealing with it, really.
First time dealing with being, on a national stage and getting all the attention. And I don't think
this shorthanded.
And I don't really think it affects this team. Because I think they understand, who they are, which is great, because then they will be rinse and repeat every single game. And then I felt like there was a couple. They've been able to beat teams by 20, and you're 100% right, by having the extra pass. But against Michigan, with that size and length, you have a shot. You got to be ready to pull it.
Yeah.
And that affected their overall shooting percentage. And I always say this: if Nebraska can stay within, I would even have gave you 8 rebounds against Michigan, Nebraska wins. Right?
Yeah.
They got out rebounded by 12, and that's really the tell-all sign. And some of it is because Nebraska shot so many threes. Some of it is because Michigan did a really good job of rebounding, and their size really started to play a factor when Rink wasn't in there, and Garcia was kind of a little bit nullified, because when you look at it, even look at the foul that Burke got going for the rebound over the back, right? It was effort, but both of them, they knew once it was only Burke to go try to get the boards. It was 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
So even if he didn't foul him, it looked like it.
Yeah.
So that gives them another possession, a good chance at free throws. They're able to really extend that lead and put Nebraska in a position where they had, 2 seconds to, shoot a shot.
Yeah.
And then they had all their big guys out there waiting on him.
Yeah. On our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, 8180, they didn't finish because they played 39 minutes in a physical game, just had heavy legs the last few minutes. Sam Price said at the end of the game, that can be true, but they're not going to use it as an excuse. Nebraska
was tired too.
Right. Now they played more guys, and you saw McKinney play a lot in the second half. He got his rhythm. Will Cheddar came in and had a couple big buckets for them off the bench in spot minutes. And if Nebraska's not going to use that as an excuse, I won't for them either, even if it is factual that happened. Jay, the end of the game is going to get a lot of talk, right? You get the Lawrence layup off the pass from Buchengel to go back up by 3, 72-69. And then you don't score for the final 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a testament to Michigan. That's also a little bit of a shortcoming on you, right? If you don't score for the final 3.5 minutes in a game in between 2 top 5 teams, you're probably not going to win, especially on the road. You give up an extended 16-6 run that started with the foul on the 3-pointer. That was borderline. I get why that would be called a foul. I get why Nebraska fans wouldn't want it to be. But that kick starts a 16-6 run over the last 9 minutes of the game. Yeah, 9 minutes, you score 6 points. And I know Michigan's an elite defense, and it was a defensive grind from that point on. But 2 points in the final 4 minutes, 6 points in the final 9, that's going to kill you. On top of the first sequence where I was like, ooh, maybe a missed opportunity for Nebraska, was the end of the first half. Nebraska has its lead cut into. Michigan gets it down to 44-42. And then you get the back-to-back threes from Price Sanford. You're up 50-42. And then you give up 6 unanswered points. You get a 2-for-1 at the end of the half, and you can't capitalize on either of them. Yeah. I think the second one, the first one, they maybe went a little quick just to get the 2-for-1, which I understand. The second one, Garcia maybe tried to do a little bit too much, got a little out of control in a spot that wasn't the best for him. But to go from up by 8 to just up by 2, again, testament to Michigan, but a bucket here or there after that second Sanford 3, whether it's in that next, minute or the final, minute and a half where Nebraska gets those 2 opportunities. If you're up 5 or whatever going into halftime, it's just that one extra possession of margin for error, and you don't let Michigan, even if they get the tip in at the end of the half from Cadeau tomorrow, so be it. But if you'd been up 7 and that cuts it to 5, it's not the same as, okay, now it's just one possession. Yeah. Both teams know that, okay, we're in for a dogfight, which it would have been anyways. But I think that 6-0 run to end the first half, and you could have pushed it to 10 again, or kept it at 7 going into halftime. That also stood out to me as kind of a big inflection point.
Yeah, and that's you knew Michigan was going to try to press right there to kind of go into halftime with some sort of positive vibes and momentum, and that's the home cooking that's what you expect for a home team, right? Mm-hmm. And that's no different in football. We talk about the 6 minutes before halftime, 6 minutes after. We talk about sometimes in basketball too. Mm-hmm. It's, 2 or 3 minutes before halftime and the first 3 minutes coming out. And so, it's all situational basketball as I'll call it. And those are things that they'll learn from. Mm-hmm. Look, it's there's a lot to look at there. There's a lot of there's way more positives than negatives. But then when you really want to come back and break down this game, you're looking at, okay, we want to improve on this or remedy some of this that we've actually done well for the majority of the season. Now you got to tip your hat to Michigan. They made their run. Nebraska's withstood it, recalibrated, came back and did their thing. But those are the things that you look back on. No different in the, AFC Championship with Sean Payton. You're going to look back on a series of plays like, well, okay, why did I throw the ball 3 times, in football? Or why did we go in a scoring drought right before halftime with a, 8-point lead? This is where we got to put the dagger in the heart.
Right.
Maybe we can go in up by 10 or by 12, give us a little cushion. So as we come down the stretch, we have more freedom to do what we need to do to either tie or win the game. So look, it was 2 well-coached teams. Both of them come in and they played to their rankings. Michigan had a little bit more in the tank. You got to tip their hat. They did what they're supposed to do. They held serve at home. Because if they lost to Nebraska, that's equivalent to 2 losses.
Right.
Not only lose at home, then you lose your, the head-to-head because you don't get the get back.
That's the only one.
And so for where Nebraska goes from here, come back, get healthy. It was a kind of a quick turnaround, for
third straight 2-day prep for Nebraska.
Right. So you look at it, you played Minnesota in the morning. Obviously, you got done early, but you had a 3 or 4 hour delay. Then you get back, and then you have to do something Sunday.
Just hit the road again on Monday.
Hit the road again on Monday, playing a hostile environment on Tuesday. So now, luckily, you get a couple days, to kind of get your feet back on solid ground, and then you got to get right back to business. Look, Illinois doesn't care that Rink Mass is sick. Illinois doesn't care that Braden Frager, is coming off a ankle injury, whether he's going to be available or not. Because all they can think about is we want that payback for what happened up there in Champaign. So, look, we're going to have a good home field advantage or home court advantage, excuse me. And so you just got to prepare as such. And so I don't think there's ever like a good loss. I think it's a learning lesson for Nebraska. I think they learned some things about themselves. I think they learned some new things about themselves. I think they're going to learn even more off of this when you get to sit back and kind of watch it. And because sometimes when you're in these big games, and let's face it, we haven't been in these type of games as a equal in, I don't know when, when the last time was. You learn about yourself in those type of environments. You learn about how you coach and how the players receive it. And then it'll make you better as you move forward, down the season.
A few things from our Sutter Heyman Jewelers text line, and then one last thing to throw to you, Jay. So 8985. Appreciate you texting in. Fatigue being a reason doesn't mean it's an excuse. Kupsker says, after sleeping on it from last night, it's still disappointing. The refs didn't call much, but down the stretch, you missed every 3. In crunch time, you needed those if you were going to win. 5162, seeing him in the main rotation, I don't understand Leo Curtis's role. Watching him, it's clear we'd have to change up the scheme when he gets serious minutes. Well, that's the rare guy that didn't redshirt under Fred Hoiberg, right? That's a guy that came in off of playing for his national team for a while. His first point since North Dakota, he goes 3 of 4 from the floor. I would agree. I thought it was a mixed bag from Leo Curtis. If you just look at what the stat line is and just watch the game, when you remind yourself that this is a freshman who hasn't scored in a month and 6 days against North Dakota, coming in on, I'm sure he was prepped, right? But essentially short notice against a top 5 team in the country, a team that prides itself on its front court with 2 of the most physically dominant players in different ways in Morez Johnson Jr. and Ade Mara, against some pretty decent guards. There were times that you can see the impact that Leo Curtis could have with his length, right? I thought especially defensively, it was a mixed bag. Sometimes he was a little jumpy, right? Michigan's guards were a little more patient. Other times he was a little slow, right? Using his length a little bit, but a little heavy-footed. Just couldn't quite get off the floor quick enough to keep the guards in front of him. But if you're telling me, Jay, that you're going to be disappointed with, double-digit minutes from Leo Curtis, I think 13 minutes from him, 3 of 4 shooting. Would have liked maybe a couple more rebounds. He only pulls down 1 of them. But for a true freshman international player in his first extended action against that Michigan team,
he was fine.
Leo Curtis was not the problem.
Oh no, that's the least of your worries. If that is the height, is that the height of at the top of your list of things you need,
then you're living a blessed life.
You know what? Then you just go ahead and give you a national championship. Right. I mean, 'cause he was just fine.
Your 4th big man didn't live up to expectations on the road against the top.
And they've been sitting on the. Look, he was commendable. He gave you 6 points. I mean, I think you really kind of look at it. We need a little bit more from Garcia. I mean, you didn't have one shot attempt. You were 0-0-0, one turnover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's so. And Michigan's tough. They put you in situations where they're not. I mean, I think sometimes when Nebraska's been, so successful this year, you think like, okay, well then, the same thing's going to happen against Michigan. They had a really good coach in Coach May.
Mm-hmm.
They got a really talented roster, and they're not going to let you get anything easy. I think that it was a point of emphasis for Michigan to try to come out and test Nebraska's manhood.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it from the very first beginning with I forget what Michigan player. I think tried to push Sam or something.
Well, that was Lindenberg. Got the frustration foul on Kale by the U16.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, and then they went into the the timeout right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, they were trying to see if they could punk you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where actually when you talk about all these different scenarios, that's where the players have to understand this is what they're trying to do, but they're playing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think Michigan was taken back. They were like, oh, these dudes ain't back. These guys ain't no punks. So now they got to play basketball, and then Nebraska and fatigue is going to happen to everybody. And sure, Michigan had a deeper bench last night, and so it's a learning lesson. And if you get to link up with them again, I think Nebraska takes some good notes from it and learn lessons, and hopefully come out on top the next time. 2
more texts here, and then we'll wrap up the segment. Frank says Michigan is not the 3rd best team in the nation. All your stat comparison means to me is that they had a full roster and Nebraska didn't. Let's not shortchange Michigan, and let's not shortchange Nebraska.
Michigan's good.
Nebraska proved to everyone they can be a legitimate top 5 team on any given night with any given rotation, essentially, that they have, right? That is a big testament to Nebraska playing as well as it did for as long as it did on the road. But this is the same Michigan team that was blasting top 25 teams by 30 points early on. This is a Michigan team that was led by a guy that probably should have gone to the NBA draft, and Yaxel Lindenberg said, you know what? No, I'm going to go even higher this year. Michigan is really good. Michigan built in a specific way. They're playing to their strengths. They're going to be dangerous in March, right? Just because a shorthanded Nebraska took them to the wire, don't discredit Michigan and thereby devalue Nebraska's performance. Nebraska gave Michigan everything it could handle and more. And that's not a knock on Michigan. Make that a testament to your Huskers, Nebraska fans.
Yeah, and Michigan.
Yeah.
They showed a little bit of pedgree right there.
Mm-hmm.
And also look at it. Lindenberg, it was part of the reason why he went 0 for 6 from 3 and 3 or 10 that night was because of what Nebraska was doing to him.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan was able to go to their bench, and obviously it came with your boy, Big Will coming off the bench. He essentially had a perfect game,
mm-hmm.
and that 3 was huge that he hit.
The 3 and then the foul as well. They were both important.
So that was part of it, and that's what happens. I mean, I think Michigan's a for real team, and so is Nebraska. And
mm-hmm.
these games come down to about a handful of plays like they do in football.
Mm-hmm.
And Michigan was able to capitalize on a couple more than Nebraska.
Last thing then, Gingerbeard Man, Duke would beat Michigan by 20. We will actually get that game coming up in February. So it'll be played, I think, in D.C. Duke did one at the Garden against Illinois last year and boat raced them. And Duke will get Michigan again this year in a marquee non-conference game in February. But Jay, the reason I bring that up here is because I've talked about this at length on other programs and occasionally here, is I appreciate my Duke fandom more than most other people that listen to this show do. But what it's done is I think it's given me perspective. That felt like a legitimate top 5 game. That felt that felt like a Duke Louisville. That felt like a Duke Virginia. That felt like a Duke, maybe not Duke Carolina, right? That's a little bit different. But I've watched Duke in top 5 matchups and top 10 matchups before. This felt every bit like one of those games. And I had the same pit in my stomach when Nebraska wasn't able to pull it off. When you saw things getting tough for Nebraska in the late going, I had that exact same pit in my stomach. Like, this one's going to sting. Not going to be on social media after this one because it's just going to eat away at me. But the point being is it's going to be important for Husker fans to take the moral victory, to talk themselves into this team, which I don't think that they'll need to do if they don't believe in this team by now. Shame on them. Yeah, but I think there's a very fine line for this team too, because this is a performance that should give them a bunch of confidence, right? That they can do it with whoever's on the court, that they can, go toe-to-toe with anyone in the country. But it also shouldn't be a time for this team to say, well, we were close, so we're good. We gave it our best. This is a mature team that I think is going to take the right lessons away from this, take the confidence away from being close and competing the way they did, but not settle and still be pissed off and frustrated and disappointed that they walked out of there with their first loss of the year, now only tied for first place in the Big Ten, but behind on the head-to-head tiebreaker like you were mentioning. Any other Nebraska team, even last year's Nebraska team, you might worry, okay, where are they at mentally? How are they going to respond? I have no doubt that this team is going to take the right lessons away in the right mix of, disappointment, frustration, anger, but also confidence moving forward.
Yeah, Big Ten is tough, man. I mean, you play Michigan, now you got Illinois, and everybody. I mean, you're going to get everybody's best shot, so it's not going to get any easier from here. And I no Sam a little bit, obviously no Fred, and can probably assume the rest of the guys, they're going to be, pissed off, and they're going to come back and try to prove a point. So,
what better way to validate your road win over Illinois than to do it at home?
Yeah,
huge opportunity.
Yeah, nothing like it, because then look, come the third time, make it a lot easier. That's one thing that happens. You beat them twice, you got their heart, and you can take their mind. So, I think they'll be all right, man. I think, look, man, it's the first time they've lost all season in a long time. Chill out, man. Stop. Don't be on the cliff so quick, man.
Especially with this team.
And what Fred has done over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Speaking of being on a cliff, Jay, are the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis staring down the cliff?
Giannis is on that cliff
of their future.
He's a paragliding out of there.
We'll talk about the new news in the NBA just about 8 days ahead of the trading deadline. We'll get to Bill Belichick Snubbed from the NFL Hall of Fame in a conversation with Evan Bland in the first couple hours. Husker football schedule, Husker football recruiting, and more in hour 3. Hour 1 of Old School brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Tell you more about them on the other side.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back 9 Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back 9 Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back 9's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back 9 Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, $2,500 down with proof credit.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans, let's put numbers together, let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. I'm Austin. He's Jay. Old School. First hour brought to you by Heartland Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. You can give them a call today for more information at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Speaking of give them a call, Jay, more and more teams inquiring about the availability of one Giannis Antetokounmpo. More and more teams being met with a response on the line from Milwaukee. Giannis will be presumably an expiring deal in 26-27. He has a player option in 27-28, which he could opt out of to sign a 4-year, $275 million Supermax extension, taking him age 32, 3, 4, and 5 seasons, I believe that would be. But if you're Giannis, why is now the right time? If you're the Bucks, is it the right time to make a deal like this 8 days ahead of the NBA trade deadline?
It is the perfect time for both. Giannis delivered a championship. He's became obviously a legendary player up there in Milwaukee. I judged him by when he's only, referred to by his first name, right? And he's reached that status. He stayed through some lean times. He saw them make some moves that he necessarily didn't agree with, right? Getting rid of Middleton, I think he was on record. That is not right.
Yeah.
So that's strike one. They tried to Band-Aid it with, Dame time coming over. Could have worked out.
Then an Achilles goes pop.
Yeah. And then, then they had, then Giannis didn't really like the coach.
Had to trade Drew.
Had to trade. Yeah. So that's 2 strikes. And, the rumors were about him wanting to be traded was even, rampant last year, but he stayed through with Doc. They seem to been getting worse. And then even in the summer, you keep hearing it where he could go.
And New York really came to mind at that point. He called out New York specifically, and they had some exploratory framework kind of calls.
Yeah. And maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe New York probably overestimated himself based on the run of last year. And that's where you can fall into a little bit of a tidal wave of thinking if you're the Knicks, when you can get a great player at his apex and really, set a franchise up there at the top, which is a blue blood franchise in New York Knicks, you're probably kicking yourself now. And so I think the Milwaukee Bucks have to think like, okay, we have tried to kind of, moonwalk our way around this, for a couple years. We got our championship. We got back. You know what I mean? We fired, what's his name? His coach it's not Boozer, but
Budenholzer.
Budenholzer. for whatever reason. Who was behind that? Who knows? I mean, it's always crazy. Just he's like Frank Vogel, like, oh, you win championship, bye.
See ya.
And they can probably get a lot in return for him. I think Giannis being a part of the Bucks is built in a fan base that can withstand him losing. I think if you do it now, there won't be any bad blood, or even if you do it in the summer. But I prefer like his best value is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw where the first team that came to mind would be the Warriors because they don't have to do anything else. Like they don't need a 5-team trade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Obviously, I would like to see him to go to the Lakers.
You would.
With Bron.
You think Bron's going to want to finish out in Milwaukee? They're not trading Luka.
They ain't trading Bron.
They'd have to if the money.
No, they can get rid of Austin AR-15.
And
Connect 4. And give you know what? You can have the 2032 first round pick. You know what I'm saying? And the 33 and 34. You know what? We'll give you 35.
You can only trade picks first round picks every other year.
Okay, then you just do it. We could do all the way 2040. You can have them all.
half our first round picks. They're yours. Take them.
Yeah. We got new ownership. Rob Pelinka, just do it, So, I think the timing is right. And the one thing I think Giannis has been struggling with it. He knows he's been reluctant to leave a smaller market to go to a big market, but I don't think this is Giannis. I don't think he's chasing like I got to run a franchise. Like, you remember when Kyrie left Cleveland?
Yeah.
He was like, I need to be the Mamba.
I got to be number one. Yeah.
I don't think Giannis is doing that.
He will be, but it's not front of mind.
Right. He wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the organization to make moves to win.
I think he wants one more ring than Jokic.
Yeah. And he knows right now Milwaukee don't got a chance.
No. And they've all Milwaukee's done is go all in around him. And it just has not worked.
But it's kind of been all in
for what they could do.
But it hasn't. It's kind of like when Cleveland had LeBron, you getting a Shaq you're getting Shaquille. You know what I'm saying? You getting all these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You still got Zagauskas or whatever his name out there. And what's the little dude, the little Australian dude? They thought he was a Steph Curry.
Dellavedova.
He thought he was a Steph Curry stopper. I mean, come on. It was
Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson.
I like Channing Frye, but Richard Jefferson. What's the one dude they had?
J.R. Smith?
No, he started at power forward for him, but he was kind of like a rebound.
Tristan Thompson.
No. That's even worse. Dude couldn't even make a lip. But the other guy, he had Andrew somebody. He was not very good, but he was kind of like a rebound guy. So you don't want Giannis doesn't want to be that, and he's getting it to the point in his career. He's got to make that second run.
Teams in the West, since we're there, the ESPN say are among the 11 most likely. Golden State gets mentioned with a 2 out of 10 easiness to make the deal, 1 being the easiest. Then, Jay, you have San Antonio, Houston, Oklahoma City, Portland, and Minnesota.
Oh, Giannis, I know you like his cold, even though you Greek. You are accustomed to the cold weather. The best place for you is Minneapolis. Straight up. Him, Ant-Man, oh yeah. You guys might go cover the Husker team. I'm covering the Timberwolves. I can tell you that right now.
ESPN deal difficulty 8 out of 10. Minnesota has no first-round picks available and is walking a financial tightrope. Landing on Antetokounmpo could require some deadline maneuvering. While the Wolves have players who can accelerate a rebuild in Milwaukee, like Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniels, they have no first-round picks to send in a deal. One option for the front office could be to reroute players to a third team for a future first-rounder that goes to Milwaukee, making any trade construction more difficult. The Wolves are not allowed to take back more salary than they receive in a trade. Doable, but
can we get rid of the French Connection? Can we get rid of the Eiffel Tower?
You're gonna need a center then.
Naz Reid.
Money might mean he's got to go. And do you want Naz Reid as a starter? Or you like him as a sixth man?
If we get Giannis, I like him as a starter.
All right.
Heck, we'll trade get Luka Garza back. I don't care who it is. We can bring back Randy Brewer. You know what I'm saying? He needs to go. Benoit needs to go. We needs to we up out of town.
We all the way home.
Yeah. That sucks. It's 8 out of 10. So it seems like it's Golden State Warriors, but I don't know if Golden State wants to do that right now.
OKC has the pick. San Antonio has the picks and the players. Houston just lost Steven Adams. Portland has Milwaukee's first-round picks. That's the deal.
He ain't going to Portland.
From the Dame deal. So
he's not going to Portland.
But if Milwaukee thinks it's going to be bad and they want their own first-round picks back?
They're not. He's not going to. He will block that. Him and San Antonio, man, that wouldn't even be fair. If he goes to San Antonio or OKC, I'm not watching the NBA no more. That would be unfair. What do you well, if he went to OKC, you probably get rid of Chet, right?
I think you'd have to, right?
Right.
Yeah, I would think so. Because Giannis and Hartenstein could probably play together.
And they were talking about Chet might have played and priced himself out of staying in OKC, so you might be able. But if he goes down to San Antonio, him and Wemby,
woo,
and Castle, oh my God,
you'd have to get rid of probably 2 of the 3 of Castle, Harper, and probably Vassell. Or can you try to send Fox up to Milwaukee?
Yep. He hard-headed anyway.
Fox, Kelton Johnson.
Yeah.
Filler.
Fox is hard-headed. He just want to get the ball and go.
He does. He was really good for them for a stretch, then really cooled off. So
he hard-headed.
In the East then, Jay, since we're running out of time here, New York obviously is a team that's been mentioned as a fit among ESPN's top 11. The other 4 teams out East, Atlanta, Detroit, Cleveland, and Toronto.
If I'm him, I want to go to. I'd go to Detroit with Cade Cunningham. Atlanta don't have Trey Man no more, so it would. I guess Atlanta would be up there as well. I don't think Giannis fits Atlanta though.
Maybe not. Fair enough. Detroit deal difficulty 2 out of 10. They have the contracts, draft picks, and young players to get a deal done, but does the best team in the East dare disrupt its run?
Yep.
Is the blurb from ESPN.
Yep.
Atlanta.
Without a doubt.
Deal difficulty 7 out of 10. The Pelicans pick might be a deal breaker. Could the Hawks interest Milwaukee in one of the top picks in this year's draft for the opportunity to take Peterson, DeBonsa, or Boozer? Atlanta does not control its own first until 2028. The one that I think is interesting, Jay, Miami. Deal difficulty 7 out of 10. Cap room, young players, and maybe a very important expiring contract, but it can't trade a first-round pick until the 2030s. So, you could have Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins as part of the money, or Terry Rozier. You could use his contract to make this deal work. Problem is the picks that Milwaukee is probably going to want back because they're so far from being competitive right now.
Yeah, and I think the only way that you're able to do that is if Giannis goes in there and tries to force a deal, like makes it to there where you take a little bit of a haircut, and that's going to really depend on the relationship that Giannis has with the GM and the owner. So, but there have been rumors about him going to Miami for some time as well. So there's got to be tread on the tires, and maybe it can work.
If you're Miami, you'd probably rather have Giannis, but if Ja Morant is available, is he good enough to upgrade your roster that you pass on Giannis just to add Ja to what you have?
I'm taking Giannis. Do you trust Ja Morant?
No, I do not. But if you're the Heat and you have Heat culture and Pat Riley, you take a shot?
No. Giannis. He fits right into your culture. Now would they have to get rid of Bam?
This deal says they'd be able to keep Bam.
Okay, well then, yeah, I like that because that's high-low action too.
Norm Powell still on the roster as well.
Ja Morant is not anybody that I want anywhere close to my organization.
I tend to agree.
And with Pat Riley, listen, you're living in Miami, you tan year-round. You want to be stressed out? Ja Morant in Miami? You can't even act right in Memphis.
Right?
You get down to Miami? Oh, no. You talking about load management. Don't even worry about it. He's just going to be playing 12 games a year.
There's no management.
There's no management.
No management.
Yeah, he'd be load management at the crib.
Big Bang Kank, you have to live in Detroit then. 8750 says, but you need to go to Detroit, even if it's not that possible. Troy and Lincoln says, but could Giannis and Luka play together? They're both ball dominant. Thomas and Lincoln says, what sucks is nobody wants LeBum James. Get LeBum off the Lakers. Who would want him in that contract?
All that hate.
All
that hate there, Thomas and Lincoln. You just drink a gallon of Haterade. You be okay though. Stop eating all that white bread with that Haterade.
We got a couple trivia questions for $30. The Buffalo Wings and Rings will be out there for the Super Bowl coming up on February the 8th. A couple chances for you to win $30 out there coming up next. Wrap up hour one.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, for brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. A short segment here, wrapping up hour 1 of On the Block, Old School. Old School, brought to you hour 1 by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Give them a call for more information today, 402-430-3852. Visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Two chances to win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Jay Foreman, the first number between 1 and 7, please.
6.
6. All right. Texter number 6 with the right answer to this question. Who was the backup quarterback who replaced the injured Terrell Pryor in Nebraska's 2011 comeback win over Ohio State?
You asking me?
I'm asking the text line, 402-464-5685. Nebraska's school record comeback. What was the name of the backup quarterback that replaced the injured Terrell Pryor in that game that Nebraska ended up pulling off the largest comeback in school history in. Texter number 6 with the right answer will get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings for the first question of 2 that we'll do here. Jay, the schedule was released, and we'll talk more about it coming up at 5. But we thought 2026 was going to be a bear. Yeah, sure looks that way.
Man, just the timing of the game. It didn't do Nebraska any favors. But I think right now, even though it's cold outside, should get your juices flowing. You got a big challenge ahead of you. Now you know exactly. You got your eyes on the prize and the target, and obviously the most important game is the first game. But you see, the mountain that you have to climb, and so the schedule's not changing. There's no fair dodging. There's no more transfer portal, at least I don't think. For his windows, right? There's no more recruiting. Your signing class is going to be your signing class here very soon, or officially be done here in the second signing period. Now you got to come together as a team, and you got to find ways to win more games than you did last year, even with the schedule. It can be done. You got to just be willing to do the work.
I said it type. I misspoke. I meant Braxton Miller. I don't know why I put down Terrell Pryor. But anyways, the question's the same. We're not looking for Braxton Miller. We're looking for the guy that backed him up, right? The guy that came in for him. Still looking for the right answer. Braxton Miller's backup in that 34-27 comeback win for Nebraska. Yeah, Jay, yet again, it's a schedule for Nebraska, and we'll get more in depth. It sets up for a pretty good start. And that's where I think you're hoping for this Nebraska team. It's one of those, build confidence through wins starts. They can then carry over, get that winning feeling.
You see it right. I mean, the Patriots in the Super Bowl kind of through the winning ways. We've seen it with Minnesota. We've seen it with different teams. And we've seen it obviously with Indiana. Once you get that winning feeling, schedule pimping and schedule strength doesn't mean anything when you step out there on the field. So, it's a long way to go. But I think, the work that you put in right now is going to set you up for, success or failure come the fall.
Since we got to get to break, we are going to give the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings to Texter 1213. The answer, Joe Bauserman. Joe Bauserman, the backup quarterback for Ohio State behind Braxton Miller.
Where is he right now?
He actually, I looked this up. He is now the GM of a sports complex or organization in Dublin, Ohio, Sport Ohio.
Oh, that's probably right.
Just got named GM. By there. So, yeah, just outside Columbus. So.
Jack Nicklaus lives in Dublin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, The more you know. Texter 1213, you win the first $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Second $30 up for grabs. We'll give you the answer after break. Another number between 1 and 7, please, Jay.
I can't do 6 again?
You can't do 6 again.
4.
Okay, 4. Texter number 4 with the right answer to this question will also win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Which Major League Baseball team drafted Joe Bauserman? And which minor league system did he pitch in for 3 years before playing quarterback at Ohio State? 402-464-5685. Which Major League Baseball team drafted Joe Bauserman and employed him in their minor league system for 3 years before he quarterbacked Ohio State? We'll give you the answer after break. Dive into Bill Belichick being snubbed from the NFL Hall of Fame. That's ahead on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street
Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans, let's put numbers together, let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Woo! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers. Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School here on 93.7 The Ticket. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. Still lots to get to. We'll get to the NFL news of the day of the week here coming up in just a moment. First of all, I want to shout out the good folks at Graham Tire for their sponsorship of Old School. They've been proudly serving the Midwest for 75 years. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. One place that matters a lot to us is Buffalo Wings and Rings. We had Jason. You are the winner of the second $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. The Pittsburgh Pirates drafted Joe Bauserman in the 4th round. He pitched 3 years in their minor league system before going to Ohio State and tossing a heck of a game-clinching interception or thereabout to Stanley Jean-Baptiste in 2011. 402-464-5685. Do you or do you not like the report that Bill Belichick has been snubbed by the NFL's Hall of Fame voting committee? Jay, you need like 40 out of 50 votes to get in.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, according to ESPN's reporting, received a call that he did not make it as the one guy that the coaches finalist pool got pushed through. He did not receive 40 necessary votes to earn his gold jacket in his first year on the ballot. I think first and foremost, it's just a shock that Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, it's, look, you can say, Spygate and Deflategate and all that. That's not even close to a legitimate reason for it. It's the reports of, Bill Polian and Bill Polian's on record, of, being very vocal about, the Spygate and stuff like that. And
as he should be. Colts legend Bill Polian, thank you.
Bill Polian, the same dude, said Lamar Jackson should be a running back.
Yeah, that was bad take.
Yeah, but
everything he did with the Colts was great. Everything else he did everywhere else is suspect at best.
But that's a great example of once you get done and you're at the top, your mouth can bring you down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. And this is his last time. I didn't know that he had that much pull, but it's disappointing. Like him, love him, or hate him, he won 8 Super Bowls, 2 as a defensive coordinator, 6 as a coach. There was talk that they would change the Lombardi Trophy to the Belichick Trophy. Doesn't even matter every football player. Majority of sports people view him as the greatest coach in NFL football history and one of the greatest coaches of all time. Yeah, great. Yeah, you could use it against him and say he had Tom Brady. Bill Walsh had Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. You're not going to win without great players. Mm-hmm. Bill Parcells had Lawrence Taylor and company, and so that's the way it goes. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame, forget him being unanimous, right? Okay, that's fine. Say, just like baseball, nobody can ever be unanimous because Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth weren't, right? With the whole King Griffey thing and all that. Remember with him? And I can get that. You're trying to tell me, everybody now that Bill Belichick, it wasn't a foregone conclusion. The Bill Belichick isn't the number like any. You had 3 votes, so there's at least 11 people that didn't have him on there once. And I hate the excuse of, oh well, we already thought it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to get in. So then other people decide to put other guys on the ballot. Vote for the best guys. The Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame, has become a joke now, and to the point that the NBA Hall of Fame and how they do it has leapfrogged it.
Yeah.
In the way that they do every weekend. And baseball's trying to make a comeback. I know with the whole, Pete Rose thing, and obviously the Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, they got to figure that out. They'll leapfrog the NFL because you got guys in there waiting. And I know this, I can speak probably the best of it just because I go through it every year with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get past the 15, 20 years, then you go into the senior committee, and they're not able to put as many guys as they can. So they're already kind of like handcuffed anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then they accelerated for coaches to get in because Bill Belichick's only been, so players got to wait 5 years to be eligible.
Coaches got to wait 1.
Yeah. You can be in as an active coach, I think, but at least 1 year, right? Well, then that knocks off of Roger Craig. Then you got LC Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're both. I mean, at what point in time are you going to put more than one senior guy in there? These guys are
Right.
that revolutionized the game. Put my dad in that conversation or take him out. There's a lot of guys that get looked over, and then now you have a guy in Bill Belichick that you can't write the NFL history without mentioning his name.
Mm-hmm.
In way more positives than not. Whether you want to be mad at him because he left the Jets and only was a Jets head coach for the day, went to New England and took them from the dumpster fire and took them into the 20-year run of dominance.
Mm-hmm.
And how dare you? It's embarrassing for the NFL. It's embarrassing for the Hall of Fame. And all the guys that'll get in that weekend, I think it's Jason Witten and all those guys got in.
Mm-hmm.
You just tainted their weekend. That it's great that they're going to get in. I'm sure the NFL will kind of move everybody into focusing on who's getting in.
Mm-hmm.
But that black cloud is over that whole ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, it's even worse. You have one of his disciples and one of his former players leading the same organization, and I'm sure Mike Vrabel's picked up a lot of things from him. And sure, I know Robert Kraft and him had their deal when they left.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But you're trying to tell me right now Bill Belichick is not, and I'm not even a Patriots fan. I respect the heck out of Bill Belichick, but you're trying to tell me he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
8 Super Bowls, 6 as a head coach, 17 division titles, second all time in wins.
I mean, that's what you're trying to tell me? So Don Shula was first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick's 10, 11 wins under him, right?
14 right
14.
now. Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me he's not? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I don't know how the NFL is going to spin it. I know they got the little weekend and they're going to, we're going to come out Friday with everybody. Look,
Mm-hmm.
the damage is done.
Yeah.
You already made the call.
Mm-hmm.
You ruined it. It's done. It's over. Like the Hall of Fame, it started to become a joke. And I'm not, by no means am I one of these players. I never, obviously I was well aware where I got drafted. And chances are to me being a Hall of Famer is slim and none, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. I'm fine with my career. I played against a lot of Hall of Famers and played with Hall of Famers. I know what it looks like. I spotted Andre Johnson from the very beginning. It started to take a turn for the worse, and this is not a knock on Steve Young. Steve Young's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Neither is Drew Brees,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And it's not saying that they aren't Hall of Famers.
But first ballot means something.
That's what I was saying. First ballot is for like Randy Mosses and all those things. You saw it even worse and more even after Steve Young with Terrell Owens. Like, you can get mad at him all you want about the thing that happened in Philly, being boisterous and all that. But when he retired, he was second in almost every single category for a receiver and was dominant. Was even a very viable receiver his last year.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, he's probably in good enough shape. He can go out and get you 600-700 yards right now. So he had to wait 3 years.
3 years.
Right. So it's pettiness. It's guys that are media members, and this is not a shot at the media members, that they feel like they're going to get some payback because whatever you feel personally against Terrell Owens. Well, if that's the case, then there's guys in the NFL that have done PEDs and done a lot worse. There's guys in every Hall of Fame that have done worse than what Bill Belichick has done, or even Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens never really got in trouble off the field. He had, obviously he's,
Well, drama isn't the same as trouble.
But he never, embarrassed the shield or anything like that. He probably was a little immature and all that stuff, but that's fine. I mean, that's just a diva position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither is Randy Moss, really. So I think it's a black eye on the league. I think it's a thing that I think they need to redo this whole Hall of Fame thing. I think there's more
for people that don't understand the process.
Right.
So you bump down the modern era candidates from 15 to 5. Then you also have the coaching candidate, the contributor candidate, and then the 3 senior candidates that are all essentially vying for like 6 spots. Total. And
so one out of the last 3 categories, coaches, contributors, and seniors, all get 1 spot.
1.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Okay. And so voters can choose 3 of those 5 at most. And you need 80% approval, 40 votes for any of them to get elected and go forward. Of course, this is where you sit in kind of that shadowy cabal room with the 50 voters. You plead your case for them, which is where maybe some of the politics did come in. And Jay, we haven't heard from really anyone who didn't vote for Belichick, who voted against him.
There's people getting out in front of it, though.
There's one person that we did hear from, and this really just came out. So this is from Vahi Gregorian down to the Kansas City Star. I'm not going to say I agree with it. I'm just going to read what he wrote in his column.
Sure.
Perhaps the cheating affected some voters, perhaps not. I can't and won't try to speak for others. It's a condition of being a voter to not divulge the deliberations. But the so-called cheating stuff is not at all the only possible explanation, because it certainly didn't influence my vote. In fact, I didn't vote against Belichick or Kraft. I voted for the 3 senior candidates, Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, and Elsie Greenwood. You could call that rationalizing, Gregorian says, and I'm suddenly reminded of the fortune cookie wisdom that you should never try to explain, since your friends don't need it and your enemies won't believe it anyways. So he voted for the 3 senior candidates. And he goes on to, say a lot of it. But the money part, I think, comes at the end here, the end of his column. Despite 10 senior players, along with 3 contributors and 2 coaches, being inducted in 2020 as part of the NFL 100 celebration, the senior backlog remains so overwhelming, including approximately 60 all-decade players, that any chance to climb out is fleeting and fraught. In the last 2 years under the new system fused together with the coach and contributor candidates, only 3 of the 6 senior nominees have made it through to the Hall. None of the 3 who were stopped short, including the 3 guys he mentioned earlier in the article, resurfaced on the next year's ballot. All of that went into why I felt duty-bound to vote for the richly deserving seniors, who most likely won't ever have a hearing again as more senior candidates enter the pool and fresh cases get made for others. Meanwhile, Belichick is inevitable soon, as he should be. At the risk of contradicting my own vote, really, he shouldn't even have to wait. I can understand why people are offended that he isn't going in the first moment he can. In the end, though, I felt more compelled by what I perceive to be last chances and looming lost causes within the system as we have it, a system I hope the Hall will see fit to change now.
At least you got to give him credit that he got out there and explained himself. He's few and far between. Now there's 10 others, at least 10 others.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that thoughtfulness to think about the guys that are in the senior list that, like he said, that you make it so far. And you would think as you make, it's like kind of like MLB, you got to get a certain percentage, and say you're 4% lower. Mm-hmm. Well, next year you'll probably be in because you just graduate to it, right?
Right. And you can stay on for 10 years, and then if you're still not in, then you get kicked off and you go to the senior.
Right. And so now with these guys, that as guys start to morph into the senior division, that lessens their chance, and then they don't even get to the forefront. It's like you get up there to give a presentation, and you only get to give the Cliff Notes version. You don't even get to give it your full version. And the NFL and the Hall of Fame, even though it's a great weekend, has been sitting. I mean, this has been going on. This has been a problem for well over a decade and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That this shouldn't be. You should have been out in the forefront of it. Now, it kind of rang true of the modern day player with Terrell Owens and stuff like that. That's no big deal, because you could look at it. He got an outburst, and then even when he got into the Hall of Fame, he stayed down in Tennessee, Chattanooga, and all that. Mm-hmm. But they didn't recognize it the byproduct because you didn't put him in the first time.
Right.
And it was obviously pettiness. Now you have it here with an iconic figure and a coach in Bill Belichick that's written in the history books and rewritten history as far as being able to be successful, 17 titles. I mean,
the man's been a part of 8 of the 59 Super Bowl winners so far. And just as a head coach, he's won more than 1 in 10.
But those are the ones he's won.
Right. Not that he's been in 12.
Right. So, and then now,
been in 1 in 5
and then now maybe will it change? Who knows? I mean, it's, and I get it. It's commendable for the writer in Kansas City said there's guys on there. At least he was doing a good deed.
But it doesn't change the fact that Bill Belichick's not getting in.
That's exactly
and
what
this
I was
is,
about to say.
I can understand, Jay, where that argument is coming from, and I can appreciate it to a point. But either guy's a Hall of Famer or he's not. It's maybe unfair that you have to compare this guy to that guy throughout the course of the process, and it's hard to compare, the apples of coaches to the oranges of contributors to the pears of players, if you will. But Bill Belichick's a Hall of Famer, but you can see that with the voting rules, where a guy like that, who's a longtime voter, longtime reporter, has a pretty good reputation in the industry, didn't seem to be motivated by spite, right? He wasn't wearing the Chiefs jersey and not voting for Belichick. You can see how it would be easy for these guys to convince themselves, oh, it's Bill Belichick. Everyone else is going to vote for him, so I don't have to.
Right.
It's, I can throw away, quote unquote, my vote for Belichick because there's no way, 40 of my other colleagues don't vote for him, so I can afford to be the one to take a stand.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a majority to do it. It takes just over 20% to do it. Maybe that's what happened in some cases. Maybe it was the politics. But it's not just media people, right? I mean, Polian's on that committee. Tony Dungy's on that committee. It's a lot of the writers. But
guys on there. And both of them are in connection via the Colts. Both of them as a rival. I just find it hard to have 19 more percent or even 10 more people that as thoughtful and have thought about this process as deep as he did. The reason why I don't believe it and will never believe it is because I've been a part of the process and talked to some of these guys. I know for a fact there's a guy at a storied franchise essentially that because when I did the NFL broadcast boot camp, we were actually out at Bowling Green and he was there and he came and talked to us about the other stuff. And he didn't really recognize who I was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a name. So I was just talking to him on a bus over there, and he was pretty much like, yeah, dude, like, I have a lot of weight. Whenever I see a guy that I want to get in from this organization, in particularly Pittsburgh, you get him in. Nothing against LC Greenwood.
Yeah.
But you can write the time of the NFL at that time without mentioning LC Greenwood. Yeah. You can't without Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Donnie Shell, Mel Blount. You can without LC Greenwood. So the standards always change. So if you talk to some players, you got to be a player that's got to be all decade. Okay.
But again, there's 60 of those guys on the senior committee alone that probably have no chance of getting in.
And so at what point in time, what are you going to say? A guy that's supposed to be, that's an all decade player from like 1960 and compare his stats to a guy that played in 2010 when he becomes, like later on down the road, that's not even realistically fair. So the guys that are pioneers of the game get leapfrog for the guys that, were obviously great players, but are able to, benefit off of it. And then the process, which is the last thing that you want as a player. I've talked to tons of, NFL player or Hall of Fame players. I've talked to Jerry Kramer. Jerry Kramer is a guy that was like I think a top 100 player, and he was the last guy to get in. And he had to fight tooth and nail to get in. He's done everything. He did media, he's NFL, and he was just overlooked for so long. And I talked to him about it, and it's just it's flawed. And obviously, Bill Belichick is going to be a part of it. This time, it's not his fault, or he's not anything negative. It's like, okay, where did it all come from? Sure, you could, with the Bill Polian thing, and then Bill Polian, said he voted for Bill Belichick. Then he was like, oh, you know what? I don't really know if I did. That means you didn't. And even if it wasn't personal, it's perceived as personal. Even if you were saying it, maybe he needs to wait a year for all the other stuff that's been going on. Well, then you better dang sure make sure every single player that you've gotten in has a clean,
squeaky clean,
history and all that. Not saying that Spygate and Deflategate wasn't a big deal. First of all, I know Deflategate was a bunch of crap. I was a ball boy way back in the day. And one of the things I had to do as a ball boy for the home and opposing teams, I would meet with the quarterbacks. I'd bring in the footballs, and certain guys liked them at a certain PSI. And then I would walk my little skinny butt over to the opposing team, and they would do it as well, or their guy would handle it as such. Period. Aaron Rodgers said the same thing. So the Deflategate is not a big deal. And
speak for yourself.
Yeah, but they got the brakes beat off them after that. I just know, like, it's unfortunate, but maybe this is something that moves the needle. Heck, Bill Belichick's been on the way to Spygate. Maybe he gave some tips up there to Michigan, right?
Right.
So hopefully it pushes in the right direction. He's getting, even Patrick Mahomes and everybody else is talking about it. Maybe it opens up some eyes and they change the voting. Even if they change the different parts of the Hall of Fame, you got 60 guys that have been part of NFL history, and just by numbers alone, 40 of them are going to get overlooked. 40.
40.
And the number is going to even grow because eventually there will be 100 senior guys that have not gotten in because if the process stays the same. So that means 60, 70, 80 guys are going to get overlooked.
The number's only going to go up.
Right, it's only going to go up because you haven't handled your business in the very beginning because it wasn't that important because you were so focused on the modern day players.
Yeah.
And the process was always pushed to the side. Well, now you're kind of getting a little bit of more look and see into the senior players by the way of the best coach by numbers, Super Bowls only, or Super Bowls and winning and in domination, doesn't get in the first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, that's also something that's a big. Well, at least I know there's what I've heard. Players talk about it. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas like in baseball, unanimous or.
Which is what I wanted to get to next as well. So Andrew Siciliano, who I believe writes, on his own website, he's covered football for a while. Says Bill Belichick won 100 games, including postseason, took the Patriots to 3 Super Bowls with 2 wins after the punishment for Deflategate. His post-scandal resume alone merits a place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Mike Sando is a longtime NFL guy as well, right now with The Athletic. Puts out a pretty good explanation for how he thinks this came about, even if he doesn't agree with the ultimate outcome. But Jay, this is where it's so different between baseball and football, right? The Basketball Hall of Fame, a lot of people get in. It seems like it's a breeze. It's super simple. I could understand more and more of the Vahi Gregorian kind, I don't want to call it a protest vote, but, Good Samaritan maybe vote for the 3 senior committee players. If you had as many voters as you did in baseball, where you used to be, 250, and that number has just grown and grown and grown. I think you're over you're certainly over 300 voters, maybe closer to 400, 450 voters right now. And you only need 75% of that.
Yeah.
But you need 80% of the people to agree for the NFL or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is where there's only ever been one unanimous Hall of Famer. It was Mariano Rivera back in 2019. He went 425 for 425. After that, one person leaves Ichiro Suzuki off their ballot, but he goes in on his first ballot. Derek Jeter, same thing, just missed out on one ballot. Ken Griffey Jr. missed out on 3 ballots. Tom Seaver missed out on 5. But again, your margin for error is so much higher in baseball because you have 6, 7, 8, 9 times the number of voters. Where, if you think a guy was really good, but maybe the lack of championships held him back, well, enough people are going to vote for him, but I didn't see a ring, so I'm not going to. Or you can cast a vote to guys further down the ballot just to keep them on because you think that they deserve more discussion and more consideration. Not necessarily the same in football. As a Colts fan, I love that Belichick's not getting on the first time. As a Derek Jeter hater, I love that he wasn't unanimous.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
They deserve to be in. Either guy is or isn't a Hall of Famer. Well, let's take a pin here. We'll wrap this discussion up here in just a few minutes. But we got Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. We'll chat with him on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Well, who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you. 4:30 on a Wednesday means we're headed to our Aloe Fiber VIP line, where we're joined by Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, a gray Wednesday here in the capital city, but we're back above freezing. How about that? First time in like 150 hours.
Yeah, bust out the SPF today and soak it in while we can.
We are here for it. Nebraska basketball goes a little bit cold in the second half, but still a pretty hot start to the year for them. And your reaction to that Nebraska-Michigan basketball game last night, Evan?
Oh, it was incredibly entertaining. And I think if you would have said that, knowing that Frank Mast was out and Braden Frager wasn't there, then Nebraska would lead most of the way, despite the free throw disparity, despite some late calls that didn't go their way. Like, I think you'd probably take it. I mean, I do kind of feel like they actually gained some appreciation nationally and some attention even in defeat. I thought it was a validation of the team at large, that it's bigger than one player or two players. And, the 3-point shooting was there. The defensive tenacity remained. And, it's truly remarkable, I think, for anyone that's followed Nebraska basketball for more than 2 years, that like a loss like that actually validates where they are and maybe what their season could turn into. So it definitely sets up what should be a really electric Sunday afternoon at PBA against Illinois, and it sets the table for a Big Ten race, regular season race that Nebraska has really never been a part of to this kind of level. So, they lost, but I think they probably gained believers out in Ann Arbor for their performance.
Yeah, Nebraska actually moves up 2 spots in Ken Pomeroy's rankings. And we know in baseball, the RPI numbers are everything. And we'll talk some Husker baseball coming up here in a little bit. But Evan, Nebraska basketball, has certainly been tested. Maybe not the toughest non-conference, but not a joke of a non-conference. We got the Husker football schedule for 2026. We knew it was going to be a bear. It looked like it for a while, and it turns out that we were right in that prognostication. When you look at really those first handful of games, the first 5 or so, what are you looking to see out of Nebraska that'll give you or the team confidence that there can still be some wins, plural, in store for October and November?
Yeah, I think the there's kind of a crescendo to the season that Nebraska's had really for a few years now. It kind of feels like you have a couple of early tests against teams that are more or less on your level, and then you have sort of those mid-October showdowns that end up defining the season one way or the other. And I think it kind of turned out that way again, where you look at Michigan State and Maryland to open the Big Ten slate. You've got you're going to see a Michigan State team that'll be early in the Pat Fitzgerald era, coming off a game against Notre Dame. I think that's fairly favorable, relatively, at least for Nebraska. You got Maryland at home. After that, that's a game Nebraska is going to be favored in, you would think. And then again, it sets up these two just statement opportunities where you've got Indiana coming to town and you go to Oregon. And I mean, there's no doubt that's a bear. Obviously, 2 CFP semifinalists in those games. But then, the November stretch is tough too. I mean, Nebraska's 2-10 in that month under Matt Rule. They've struggled in that month really since about the last 10 years in the Big Ten. And so you've got 3 road games that you're staring down this upcoming fall. Illinois is never an easy place. That's a program that's continuing to get better. They have had some luck at Rutgers, but then you follow that up going out to the East Coast with Ohio State at home. And then, of course, you ended at Iowa. So I think people, you knew who the opponents were and where the locations were and that this thing was going to be difficult. But I think it probably underscores the urgency again to start strong and potentially be 5-0 when Indiana comes to town. It'll be the first time a defending national champs come to Memorial Stadium since Texas in 2006. Ooh. So kind of a fun opportunity there, but you got to earn it on the front end. And so I think for Nebraska to get where it wants to be, you're going to have to take care of business early, and then you're going to have those statement opportunities in the second half of the year.
And Nebraska gets the other half of the West Coast wing. Now they had the 2-year home and homes with USC and UCLA to start. And I think they got the tougher end of that deal this year, even with where Oregon has been in the college football playoff conversation, having to go out to Eugene, but then obviously, getting Washington at home. Nebraska's had some good battles with both of those teams, but, for as improved as USC was last year, there's no question that Nebraska has the harder half of that West Coast swing this year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who knows what UCLA is going to be? New coach, bunch of new players, and that'll play out probably in a way that's hard to predict at this point. But, Oregon, you're going to get Dante Moore back. If injury crops up, that could be a Dylan Raiola game. You never know. That's a hard place to play. I mean, when Indiana went there and won at Autzen last year, like that, it doesn't happen very often. Nebraska went out there, of course, in 2017 and got into a shootout. And it's hard to stay out of a track meet, especially on that field. It's a smaller venue, but it's a loud one. And so obviously going out 2 time zones, that's one of your longer trips that you'll make. That's a big challenge. And, Washington at home is I think a lot more palatable than going out to Seattle and just the home field advantage that the Huskies have had for a number of years. Like you said, Nebraska's had some somewhat recent non-con experience with that program like in the early 2010s, that stretch where they played them 3 times in a year, home and away, and in the Holiday Bowl. But that game being on Halloween, I think could have the potential to at least come close to what Nebraska put out there against USC last year. Maybe that's a night game. The crowd's going to be amped. We'll see what the stakes are and where Washington is at that point. But I think if you were to choose maybe the harder of the two, Nebraska's going to draw that this year, certainly in the Ducks and the Huskies.
And a little different setup overall for the schedule with no, week 0 kickoff game, Evan, and then Nebraska with that doesn't have an early bye, right? No week 0 game, and the bye doesn't come until Nebraska's played 7 games. But what does that mean for the team, not having that early kickoff and then also not having the bye till they're, 7 games down?
Yeah, so the way the calendar falls, you just have the 1 bye this year. The last couple of years you've had 2. And so it does condense the season a little bit. And even further to your point, with Nebraska not playing a Thursday game like they did last year in Arrowhead or, at Minnesota. They've had some odd kind of novelty openers, obviously Ireland and, Illinois. They've had some different kind of approaches to their season. This is a lot more traditional with 3 home games against, schools from the group of 5 or lower. And so I think that's probably what this team needs when you talk about all the new transfer additions. You're going to be integrating a new defense, a lot of new coaches that are going to be part of this thing, new quarterback. So I think the ramp up is ideal in that way. Whether you play on Thursday in late August or Saturday, I don't know that it really makes all that much difference. But then the curiosity to me was where the bye week would end up. And I think that's about as favorable as you could ask for coming off of that Oregon game. You get that extra week to acclimate before the big game against Washington. But, the downside potentially is if you go 0-2 against Indiana and Oregon, depending on how those games go, that's an extra week to kind of, gnash teeth and kind of lament the situation. So we'll see how that part plays out. But I do think overall, like as a football fan, it's preferable because you do have these weekends now that are a little deeper in terms of the quality matchups. And I know having talked to coaches and players last year, they would prefer just to continue the season, to keep playing too. And so I think it'll probably be a little bit maybe smoother navigating that second half of the season, just knowing you have the one bye week to work through.
2 more then on Husker football. No Friday games on the schedule right now. Do we anticipate that changing?
Well, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a home Friday game the way they had against Illinois a couple years ago. But yeah, it's possible that it could, and that'll happen in late May when the Big Ten puts that out. That's what they've done the last couple of years, and so they'll flex some of those games to Friday. As I'm looking at it, that Michigan State game on the September 26th maybe could be a candidate for that. That makes a degree of sense to spotlight, Pat Fitzgerald coming back into the league. And so I kind of look at that one. Maybe if they're still doing those Friday games into November, maybe that game at Illinois on November 7th would make a degree of sense. The league has liked to put that particular matchup on Fridays multiple times in the past. So I think those are probably the 2 I would look at this point. Again, I wouldn't anticipate Nebraska having a home Friday game. I know that's something they'd prefer to avoid anyway. But we'll have to wait a couple more months at least to get that Friday designation and then to get the kickoff times for those early week games as well.
Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald is with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line, covering all things Husker football. The only other thing I have for you, Evan, I'll point people obviously to omaha.com to read your write-up on Mac Markway shifting positions. But on the Husker football schedule, do you think this Nebraska fan base is better equipped, more used to, handling another potential, late season swoon with valid, reasonable frustrations? Or you think that another, okay October into a no-show November could send this fan base careening to some dark places?
Well, yeah, assuming that they're not there right now, coming off of last year. It's the traditional rhythm of the off season, right? Like you finish and at least around here, the way that it's been is pessimism, frustration. And you go through the portal and things pick up a little bit and you start building up excitement. And I'm sure that'll continue to rise through spring ball. And then by the time you get into, August, you start talking yourself into, wow, this could be, 8, 9, 10 wins if this happens. And that happens. So we'll see if that shakes out. But I do think the structure of the schedule is very similar to what it's been, again, where you have this ramp up to having a really successful first half of the season, and then you run into this gauntlet down the stretch. And so having 3 road games in the month of November, that's obviously a challenge. Nebraska's won at Rutgers before, multiple times. They've never, in fact, lost to the Scarlet Knights. So that's a game you'd kind of look at and think, especially when you look at Rutgers through the years, by the time they get to that point in the season, they tend to be pretty worn down. So that's a game Nebraska can win. They've won at Illinois multiple times, so you can do it. And then, of course, you go to Iowa City. Every game's close out there. It's just been a matter of closing it out. So, there's like, that's what Nebraska needs to get back to. Is again 2-10 under Matt Rule in the month of November, and the record's just about as bad going back to 2015 or so. So this is not just a problem that this staff has had to solve. It's a Nebraska problem where depth and fundamentals wear down, morale wears down late in the season. So for Nebraska to be where they want to be, playing meaningful games, being in the CFP discussion, like you got to be competitive. You got to win games like that. So that's going to continue to be, I think, the litmus test for this program until further notice, until they show that they can turn the tide back in that 11th month.
Good stuff going on the Husker football realm there from Evan Bland. Evan, let's turn our attention to Husker baseball here as the season continues to inch closer and closer. I want to talk about Dylan Carey here for a few minutes, a guy that entering 2024 I wasn't super high on, understood his role, what he was there to do, but had more strikeouts than hits, did have 25 extra base hits 2 years ago. And then last year, Evan, a really good year for him, 28 extra base hits, cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, and then kind of surprisingly didn't get drafted at all from Major League Baseball. I know that was a little bit of a surprise to him, but what's his focus been like? What's his offseason been like as he's in his final year of eligibility and eyeing a professional future?
Yeah, I think he took that personally, that not getting drafted experience last year. And, when you go through something like that, that's going to tend, as a player, like that resonates with you more, I think, than almost anything else. You can hear from coaches or teammates, hey, you're good at this, work on that. But I think his experience hearing from scouts say, hey, we'd love it if you had more power in your bat, or if you were, even a little bit more consistent as a fielder. I think he took that to heart. And certainly at that time, that was something that he was going to wear and embrace that chip on his shoulder. I think that's something he's taken through the off season. And, now he becomes like a rare 4-year starter on the infield for Nebraska. He'll be back at shortstop, and the Huskers, of course, had prepared to move on, with him in the pros, with bringing in Jet Buck as a transfer from lower level. And so now they've got this situation where their infield is, it's got to be about as experienced as any in college baseball. When you talk about bringing back Joshua Overbeek at third, Carey at short, Jet Buck, who's new to the program but has played a ton of college ball, and then Case Sanderson, who's going to be a third-year guy. And I think Carey's the guy who's, one of the kind of the heart and soul, and one of the vocal pieces of that, I would say, along with Overbeek. And so it'll be interesting to see how that offense particularly carries over. And I know it's been something he's worked on quite a bit to see if that power and how that power translates as the season gets going. But he's always been a leader. He's been, very reliable at shortstop. I think they expect that to continue. And I think it's just all about that production at the plate. And if he can take that to another level to help boost that lineup.
Yeah, 13 errors is all in about 200 plus chances for Dylan Carey last year. 7 homers in 24, 8 homers in 25. Evan, is this a year that Nebraska should hope for double-digit home runs from Dylan Carey? How much upside do you think is left in his bat and in his glove, I guess, here as a fourth-year player at Nebraska?
Yeah, I think with the glove, you want more of the same, just consistency. When the ball's hit over there, it's going to be an out. I think with the power, like you mentioned, 7-8 home runs to this point. If you can add another 4 or 5 to that, like you're going to put yourself in the upper level of the Big Ten. I think that's a reasonable, realistic outcome, given just the way that he's emphasized some changes to his swing. And, that's just been the thing with Nebraska, is they've had some table setters the last couple of years, really since Max Anderson and Bryce Matthews walked out the door. They've had table setters. It's been about those run producers and the guys to drive them in. We've seen flashes with Gabe Swanson and some other guys, but like Carey has that opportunity to be one of those guys sitting in the middle of the lineup clearing the bases. And so that hasn't always been his game. But, again, like if you get to this point in your career and you want to continue it in pro ball, like those are some of the changes that scouts are looking for. And so I think it happens to line up with what Nebraska is looking for at this point too. So I think there's motivation there. He's certainly talented enough. He has the pedigree as a high-end recruit coming out of high school from the state of Colorado. And, a guy like that, when he puts his mind to it, it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out.
And that's a guy that's probably going to have a hard time being first team All Big Ten at his position, given the return of Rock Chalowski to UCLA. Would he be, in Dylan Carey, Nebraska's most likely All Big Ten guy anyways? Is it someone like Ty Horn on the mound? Where's the All Big Ten upside, you think, for this Nebraska team?
Yeah, I mean, Carey could have that kind of year. The Big Ten, I think, is pretty deep at short. I mean, that tends to be where teams put their most athletic guys anyway. Probably it would be on the mound, I would say. Yeah, I mean, just when you're talking about like raw talent and projectability to the major league level, that's probably where you start. So it could be Ty Horn. Honestly, I think any of those guys that they start on the weekend has that potential. I think Carson Yassa could be that guy if it comes together. Tucker Timmerman could be that guy. With the bat, if the move to center field works out for Devin Nunez, like he could be somebody who takes that next level. Case Sanderson is sort of in a similar spot to Dylan Carey, where he's been a guy who has worked a lot of walks and hit a lot of singles. And he made a point of saying a couple weeks ago that he wants to be a run producer as well and put a little extra juice in his bat. So I think those are all guys that if the gains sort of coalesce at the right time and match what they've been trying to work toward, they have the talent to do that. So I think that's probably where I'd start. If you're giving me one guy, it'd probably be Ty Horn as a Friday guy, putting it all together over a full season. But yeah, I think they have a lot of candidates.
Just a few weeks away from first pitch for Husker baseball down in Phoenix, covering it all for the Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland. Evan, it's always great to talk to you. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Austin. See ya.
Evan joined us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. One more segment for hour two, a deep dive into that Husker football schedule, and more in the NFL coaching carousel in hour three.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to the Spring Equipment and Technology Clinic February 3rd through the 5th at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney. New this year, the planter and sprayer clinics are combined into one streamlined, hands-on event built around growers' time and needs. Get expert training on John Deere planters and sprayers on topics including maintenance, technology, and autonomy. Don't miss it. February 3rd through the 5th in Kearney. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for details.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I did see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in. A short segment here at the end of our second hour. Full another hour coming up next after this, taking you home on your drive time from 5 to 6. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. This segment brought to you by Love Volleyball Nebraska. They have gotten their season underway. You can get your tickets online, lovbneb.com. Former Huskers Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson dominate the court for Love Nebraska. Promotional schedule is out. Check out the fun stuff they'll be doing really all across the state of Nebraska, primarily at the Baxter Arena. Jay, we'll wrap up on one final kind of Husker basketball thought. The more and more I scrolled, a lot of ranked teams avoided some scares yesterday. I mean, Purdue went down on the road. That's a 3-game losing streak for Purdue. They lose on the road in Assembly Hall to Indiana. Miami of Ohio only wins by 2. St. Louis wins on a kind of buzzer-beating 3 from Robbie Avila. Virginia took double overtime to beat a mediocre team in Notre Dame. Arkansas wins by 4. UConn by 6. Michigan State crawled back from down double digits on the road at Rutgers. And again, hard to win on the road. Hard to sustain any sort of winning streak in college basketball. But I think more importantly, Husker fans, you can take solace in this. Creighton got boat raced against a bad Marquette team. They were down 29 at half and only ended up losing by 24. So as bad as you might feel about the Nebraska loss, just know it could be worse, right?
Hey, Shaka Smart, he'll show you why he's was a sought after coach every once in a while. And Creighton, I think when you look at it, and you can look at everybody else, it's kind of one of those, Tuesdays is kind of like upsets in baseball during the week. You can catch people slipping. But I think as you get closer to conference tournament time, there's more tape on everybody. You can play tendencies. And when you're a ranked team, people are going to get up for you. So with Creighton, though, I think I saw the press conference with Coach McDermott. He was like, this is one of the most frustrating years that he's had. They felt like they had a pretty good portal class. It just hasn't gelled. I think it's his first go-around without, like, that staple player.
Yeah.
Right? And that's hard to do because you're recruiting with at least in my opinion, I can't speak for it, but, you're recruiting with the mindset of what you're used to, which is the finished products of
Right.
Brenner and all those guys, right?
Mhm.
But you sometimes forget, not saying that he has, but the growing pains of those guys 3 or 4 or 5 years, prior.
Right.
Now you're starting over, even if you're getting a Dix and those guys. He's coming from Iowa. He's trying to fit into Creighton's system. It's a totally different league and a totally different culture. Great player, but then you got to get guys around him. You got Green and who's kind of trying to come in his own. You got Trout that's kind of
right.
Trying to figure out, from stardom in high school to he was kind of like a role player, kind of like a bruiser.
Mm-hmm.
But there goes my man Dave right there.
Shout out Dave.
Yeah, not from Renew
What's
Your
up?
Auto, but he's the steak man now. He's 2 years in a row. He just be clipping people on those picks. But I think that's where they're at. But you know what? As much as people in Nebraska losing, always want to just look over the cliff. God forbid Nebraska is 20-1. You could be up the highway 80 in Omaha and Creighton. It's a lot more stressful.
So
Especially
I'm not
when you get boat race like that.
I'm not trying to be a hater, except wait, yeah, I am. So take that, Creighton. Bad night.
They
for
deserve
hoops
it.
in the
They've
state of
earned it.
Nebraska. They sure have.
Yeah,
they sure
congratulations, Creighton.
have. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely no one.
Yeah, we're
wearing
happy
Creighton
for
blue.
you.
We sure are.
You wear it well too.
Do we ever? Hour 3 of Old School next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I didn't see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
All right, fellas, it's January. You're setting goals, you're hitting the gym, but have you checked what's going on inside the engine? At Advanced Medical Imaging, the Wellness Within program makes it easy. They have different levels of preventive scans so you can choose exactly what fits your health goals, from quick baseline checks to full body insights. It's simple, it's smart, and it's all about keeping you in top form before problems ever sneak up. And the best part, you don't need a doctor's order. Just call AMI to schedule and make this the year you put your health on the schedule.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Every winter, I struggle with feeling sluggish and down. I've read about the benefits of red light systems, but trying the Spectrum 7 at MaxTan has become my bright spot. A few sessions of full body red light, and I'm more energized and centered. It's my go-to winter boost, MaxTan.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time. And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Hour 3? Jay Foreman, Austin Orman coming at you live, 1040 Oak Street. We are Old School. I couldn't say a brisk day, but a first day in quite a while above freezing. So hopefully things are starting to thaw out. People can get back to their regular lives. And wishing everybody across the country the same. Hopefully, good news. Hopefully today, but hopefully in the future as well. Once again, we want to give a shout out to Graham Tire. Appreciate their support, allowing us to be on these airwaves, and obviously bringing you some of our thoughts in both in good and bad of the current state of not only Husker sports, but then sports in general. So covered a lot. Obviously, men's basketball fell to Michigan last night by 3 points. Got big news that Giannis is potentially out of Milwaukee. Bill Belichick gets a snub. Have some recruiting news that we'll dive into. We got some NFL head coaching news finally. The Cleveland Browns, I think, have released the black smoke from Cleveland. It is not who they thought it was, who everybody recommended or thought it should be. Cleveland's going to be Cleveland. So there's still a lot to talk about in this last hour, man. I think we could start off with, and obviously the most important thing we think about the Husker football, the schedule finally came out. I think people knew who we were going to play, and then you kind of said when we were going to play them and try to prognosticate, what the outcome of the season would be. But you can't really do that until you look at the schedule and see when and where and the timing of the schedule, which is so important. You've seen it work out for people, for other universities, other football teams, in particular Indiana in their first year under Cignetti, and a little bit even last year, because where you play guys or where you play teams and when you play them back-to-back in the part of the season, depending on your roster, obviously will hopefully, pay dividends for Nebraska or other teams as well. So the schedule was released. You had a day to probably sit on it a little bit, Austin. What are your thoughts?
Man, make your hay early. you got your runway. So we have Ohio and Bowling Green to start your 2 MAC teams. A good Ohio team coming off some turmoil, shall we say, with their head coach. Bowling Green and then North Dakota, who's usually played Nebraska relatively tough. Yeah. At Michigan State to start off, Big Ten play. Pat Fitzgerald's kind of had Nebraska's number before, but that's year 1 with a new roster. We'll see if he can do the David Braun thing, right? When David Braun took over for him at Northwestern, kind of down on its luck the way things were going. I'm never going to write off a Pat Fitzgerald team in a game like that early in the season. Maryland, maybe you get the good version of Maryland there in the first week of October. It's usually about then that you start seeing some cracks, and then late November or late October into November, the wheels start falling off of Maryland. And then it's prove it time for Nebraska, really from there on out. You get back-to-back home games with Maryland and then Indiana. Mm-hmm. Okay, Indiana's not going to be the same. They're still going to be good. You're not going to expect to beat them without playing your best game, but you get them at home. That's got to be a validation moment for Nebraska, especially if they're 4-1 at the worst, if not 5-0, like I think Husker fans would expect. Take your shot at them. And then, Jay, I think you can really empty the tank against Oregon, right? Yeah. Depending on how that Indiana game goes, either you're riding a heck of a high, feeling really good going on the road, and there's another chance to validate who you are and what you've done, or hey, got to get some get back, right? Okay, we lost our home game, but we can, quote unquote, make up for it with a road win. Not bitter rivals, Nebraska and Oregon. It's been a pretty good series between those two. Haven't seen a lot of them. So, I mean, those first 7 games, I think will tell us a lot. I think you're hoping for 5-2 in that stretch, 6-1. I think if everything breaks right, and then you come off your bye, good, talented Washington team. We'll see what kind of drama's going on up there and not going on up there.
And they're losing some guys too.
They sure are. At Illinois, it's been a good series. Like Evan was saying, just haven't found a way to close those games. At Rutgers, maybe kind of trap-ish with Ohio State looming at home the next week. But man, 3 out of 4 on the road in November. Not a single one of them is an easy trip necessarily for a variety of reasons. I think the biggest hope for Nebraska in the Ohio State game is that Nebraska's found a little bit of a groove and maybe is overachieving a little bit. Yeah. And Ohio State's looking forward to the Michigan game the next week. But man, to have 3 of the 4 games in November on the road at tough places to go, and your only home game in November is Ohio State, doesn't give me a lot of hope right now with what I think I know or would project about this Nebraska team, that this is anything more than yet another 1-win November.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think last year they were had 2 games at home. The year before, 2024, you had 2. So you always kind of had 2 and 2. Now you're going, 1 and 3 on the road. So you got to really buckle up. And going on the road is different, especially later in the year. Teams will have a beat on your tendencies, and depending on your depth and health, obviously that could play a factor as well. But you're 100% right. You're going to face a tough Ohio team coming right out the gate, even though you have them at home. They are battle tested. If you did not watch them against UNLV, they beat the brakes off of UNLV.
And hey, where did Nebraska get its quarterback from?
UNLV. So they got a good book on them, but I mean, this is a new year, 2026. And then you got the Fighting Eddie Georges coming in, Bowling Green. I'd like to coach that game. Me and Eddie George got a score now.
That's some history. You'll be down on the sideline though, so you can
see him.
Run into him.
Hey, that's a big brother though, man. I
bet you're in better shape than Eddie.
No,
right
I'm
now.
not.
I
No,
bet
I'm
you
not.
are.
Back when
I'll take Jay Foreman.
No. Eddie looked like he been lifting. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use that. I got to catch him for the side. I might have to, and then you got North Dakota that's always going to come in and play hard and be tough, right? And there's a connection there. I think the San Diego State defensive coordinator, when Rob Orrick was there the first year, I think is their head coach. And so there is some familiarity there. And then I think you go right on the road to it's the unknown, right? You're fighting the aura of the Northwestern Wildcats of old and Pat Fitzgerald of old, with new resources, new athletes, and a new start or a new lease on his coaching life. And you're going up to Michigan State, which has a different, I know Mel Tucker says the woodshed and all that, but it's a different type of mentality when you go up there. Now it's earlier in the year versus when we went up there and we punted the wrong way and they took it the other way. But they're going to be tough. Right away that they're going to be well coached. They're going to be disciplined. He's done a really good job. For the first year of or the first go at it of being suspended in this new era of transfer portal, which he never really got to participate in.
Right.
Both by what happened, but then also Northwestern wasn't a big player. Now Michigan State has money, resources, and support. He's hired a good staff.
Minus OC. I'm not sold on Bajakian, who didn't do much for him offensively.
But he knows what he likes, though. That's the only thing that I'm giving him. I agree with you. But
familiarity is only great if it works.
Right. It worked. But here's what he's saying. You didn't have much there. And we're only worried about how he plays against Nebraska. You're worried about everybody else. We're worried about how he plays against Nebraska.
Fair enough.
So he's thinking, okay, if we have better athletes with your play calling, I'm at least give you a chance. And I trust you.
All right.
We went down together, and that's it. So we'll see. But I would like to think that he thinks that he's going to have a better team and be more ready-made by week 4. He knows, even though they ran Jonathan Smith out of there, he knows that he can't. This isn't the time off of Kirk Signetti. There is no 3 years no more.
Right.
You have to show consistent progress. So he's going to be coming out all guns a-blazing at home, a blue blood coming in. If you want a signature victory coming off a suspension and they hired you, it's to beat Nebraska. That's going to be a tough game right there. That's going to be a tough game because like you're on the road the first time. Got a relatively still young team, even though you got a little bit older quarterback. You're trying to break in, the 5 linemen and the running back or running backs. You got a kind of new receiver group, even though you got Hunter back. So you're still going to be trying to get your ducks in a row, but you're on the road.
That game for Michigan State will come on the 26th against Nebraska.
They played Notre Dame before that.
Yeah, Toledo, Eastern Michigan to start at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Come back home for Nebraska, then go to Madison.
Yeah,
The
but
very next
that's
week.
why that makes that Nebraska game so important because you figure they're going to win the first 2. That's what they're thinking, fan base. You kind of already get on the plane and know that Marcus Freeman, even though he paints his hair, all right, Nick, I know you're listening. You're going to probably be a tough match in Notre Dame, but this is the first big home game.
But if you can get halfway to bowl eligibility by week 4 in year 1 with Pat Fitzgerald,
yeah,
how about that?
You're like, yeah, I mean, there'll be like this. See, told you why we should have hired him, right? And then you go on the road. Then you come home against a Maryland team who retained Mike Locksley, right? He changed a little bit in the staff, but the most important thing, they didn't lose a lot of guys in the portal,
right?
Because they have listen, that defensive line, and then they just got. I didn't even send you the last was it 30 or 40 5 stars for 2026. They got the number 1 defensive end.
Yeah.
So that they're going to be pass rushing again. They had some playmakers on the back end, right? And the quarterback is the real deal. And Mike Locksley is going to be essentially calling plays for the extend his coaching career.
Yeah.
So you get him at home, and Maryland's going to be tough in the sense. I think Nebraska will win. Here's where I think games like Maryland will be tough. The weather will be good.
Yeah.
That's where I think, we played them later in November, then it weighs heavy to Nebraska. But I think Nebraska will win that one because Nebraska needs it, right? So you need to be, okay, say you're 5-0, and here comes Indiana. Indiana's not the same team. Kirk Cignetti, Mendoza's not coming through there. Him being black and all those guys aren't running the ball.
Right.
So they're very beatable.
Kamara Fisher gone.
Right.
Pond's gone.
Right. And so, you should be up and being able to get ready to play against Indiana. Shoot your shot there. Then you go on a long road trip to Oregon.
We also have to factor in game times that we obviously won't know for a while. Evan thinks that Michigan State game could be a Friday game, which could give you an extra day from Maryland. But that Indiana one, Jay, that has potential. I mean, you could see that.
5-0, you could be
big noon, you could be 2:30 CBS, or you could be the marquee NBC game.
Right. And how that game goes or where you're at, where Oregon's at, it could be back-to-back weeks, right?
Yeah.
You could be 5-1 or 6-0 heading up to Oregon and on the road. Now that's a super long trip. You're talking about leaving on a Thursday. You better get out of here Thursday morning. Yeah, and get up there and get loose and get acclimated up there because that is a long trip.
I've made it.
Yeah, and it gets longer as you get closer.
Yeah.
You're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when you descend, you're like, oh man, it seems like 2 more hours.
Did anyone on the NFL planes ever ask a coach, are we there yet?
I know when we went to Washington, I was like, dang. How these like, oh yeah, I'll watch a movie, listen to a couple CDs. They're like, oh yeah, we got another hour and 10 minutes. And trust me, I've flown from Buffalo to Seattle a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. And so, that's a big game. And then you come home or you get a bye week, which is great. And then, and then you can, I don't know if they recruit, but you can get rested a little bit. And then you play Washington, which potentially, it depending on what would be great on Halloween night.
Yeah.
A night game against Washington. They'll be well coached. They'll be explosive on offense. Jed Fisk will be able to call plays. That's a given. So you're going to be, your work's going to be cut out for you on the defensive end. And then offensively, you got to be able to try to find a weakness. I mean, so this schedule, even though we're talking about the best scenarios, every game is going to be tough.
Is there any drama potential for Washington to have the quote unquote season from hell? With the way things went down with DeMond Williams, do you think Jed can get that handled to where Washington can be in the mix?
Well, let's look at their schedule.
That's a great idea.
Let's look at their schedule. Let's just see what Washington State, they should win. Utah State, they should win. Listen, they're at home, play Eastern Washington, and then they get the Gophers. So if that game, like Michigan State, that's a huge game. You expect to be 3-0. You have to be 3-0. It's a even Steven against Minnesota. They kind of come in and try to battle the quarterbacks. They had a freshman quarterback. You have obviously Williams that's a little bit longer than
Lindsey will be a sophomore now.
Yeah,
so,
but he was a freshman last year.
Yeah.
So and DeMond Williams is going to be a senior.
Yeah.
So, but they believe in their quarterback. You believe in yours. They run the ball to control the game. you run the ball to control the game, but it's to set up your explosive passing game.
Yeah.
You lose Boston, your receiver. You lose your running back in Coleman. Now they do have a backup running back, even though they lost one in free agency or transfer portal. They like their depth, but they're ripe for the picking for PJ Fleck, a normal PJ Fleck year. We're going to comment on that in their NIL with the lack of in their coaches pool, which is interesting.
And Nebraska doesn't see Minnesota this year, by the way.
But Washington needs this game because then they go. Listen to this: they go on the road to USC.
Oof.
They play Iowa at home. Get a little bit of a break at Purdue at Purdue, and then you might even stay here in the Midwest, and then you play at Nebraska. So that's a huge you got to beat Minnesota. You know USC would be let's just say they'll be tough. Iowa's going to be tough. Purdue, then you come to Nebraska because after Nebraska you got Penn State at home. You go to Michigan State at home against Indiana. If Indiana is who everybody thinks they are, they're trying to ramp up for the Big Ten championship in college football playoffs, and then to end your season you go to Oregon. So the only drama that could fester up is if you drop some games that you shouldn't.
Like that go 2-2 in that middle.
Yeah, like so those first four. Well, either that or if you lose one of those first three, or in that middle stretch from Minnesota. I'll even go to Minnesota, Penn State. So you play Minnesota, USC, Iowa, Purdue. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you don't go 3-3 somehow in that stretch, and you're already bowl eligible with 3 more games left, then you're thinking I could be 7-5, beat Michigan State, Oregon, and Indiana. Okay, toss up or maybe losses. That's where it could be. But I don't think the whole potentially going to LSU thing will fester anymore. I think it's done. I think Jed will have a good relationship with him. He's probably all the little things he's had to do to get back in good graces is probably fine. He probably had a little realization like Jed's taking care of you. He's recruited you. He recruited you over Dylan at one point in time. So I think that they'll be good. But if they are, then that'd be great on Halloween.
What do you like about? I mean, let me rephrase. Do you like 7 games won by 5 games? How do you think that works out for Nebraska?
I like it because this team is in transition, meaning you got a new quarterback, you're going to have new running backs, you're losing Dane Key, you got 5 new offensive line, you got a couple holdovers and 3 new guys, so you're trying to build that continuity. I'm a big rhythm guy, especially you have a new defensive coordinator, new D-line coach, new edge coach, new safeties coach, and obviously with Dvorak and Addison Williams being able to be in the holdover. So you're still trying to get your ducks in a row. And when you play 7 games, the first 3 are like glorified scrimmages. You get what I mean? Yeah. So you really are playing 4, what I like to call like white knuckle games. That's Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana, Oregon. So you played 2 games you should beat, 2 games that you're probably not going to be favored in. Let's see where we're at. Rest and recover. Then we get to go play Washington at home. Or get to play Washington at home. And then we get to go on the road to Illinois, which I think is a great year to play Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay, they lost the quarterback. They lost I call it the last of the Mohicans of Gabe Jackus. Remember they had that freshman crew. Yeah. All of them got drafted really high. He was the last guy that stayed for his senior year. He's actually down at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
So now this is a whole new Illinois team, right? Their tight end, I think, is gone as well. So now you're thinking, okay, look, Altmaier's out of there. Right? The tight end's gone. So now the Brett Bielema being able to kind of line up and beat you up and with the quarterback that can make off-schedule runs.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect time to go to Champaign, even though it's a hard place to play. We've seen plenty of teams go into Illinois, right?
Was that Beatty guy gone too, or is he back for one more year? Beatty, the wide
number
receiver?
80. Is he number 80, right?
I believe
Because they got him out of the transfer portal last year.
80. Yeah.
I don't know, but he was pretty good. But, I mean, look, you got to, their quarterback is what really hurt us when they played here a couple of years ago. He played really, really good. So you like going there. Then you come back, and then you have a super long trip out there to Rutgers or New Jersey. So they're going to be tough. They're going to be physical, right? But you know what you're getting into. You're going to be the better team running out of the locker room. And, you got to be tough to go out there and beat them. So I think the only thing that you're playing against out there is your mental, which if you repaired that from last year via Minnesota game, you feel like you're in a better place. And then because November is no joke, so after Halloween, don't be down on O Street thinking it's I know everybody likes to wear no clothes at all during Halloween. It's time to get your mind right, because then you got Ohio State coming in. Same thing like Washington faced with Indiana on that same weekend. Those two teams are probably beelining for the Big Ten championship, college football playoff. So you're going to get their best shot no matter what the weather is on November 21st. Then you have an extra short week playing Iowa at Iowa.
Yeah.
You got your work cut out for you, but it's obviously people can text in with your initial thoughts on what the win-loss could be. You just, look, obviously you got to be bowl eligible. It on paper, it looks like a tough schedule. But on the paper this year, the schedule looked a little easier. So I think right now, you got to expect everybody's, best shot, but also realize the game still has to be played.
Yeah.
Don't ever respect your opponent, never fear him. And that's where you got to be at. And you know what, look, this could be a year that you made, kind of fell into your quarterback, and this somebody where can really, by the Emmett being gone to the NFL, somebody can really step up and take a hold of that running back position. And then so forth and so on. So it's going to take a lot of guys that are going to step up. That's what spring ball and winter conditioning is for.
Is that underway by now?
I'm sure they're lifting and running now. Spring ball is starting in February, right? Because it's going to be done March. Because it's going to be the
weekend of the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight.
Waterboy says only way Matt Rule earns the extension he just got is if Nebraska wins 8 games this year. Thomas and Lincoln says I see Nebraska going 5-7 with 2 blowouts and a 6-game losing streak with only 1 win in November.
Oh, let me read that. I see Nebraska going 5-7. There being 2 blowouts, so that means 2 blowout losses.
Yeah.
Oh, and a 6-game losing streak and only 1 game. How does that even make sense?
So you would go.
So you win the first 3.
Yeah, 4-0 or 4-1 in that first 5-game stretch.
Okay.
Lose the 6 in a row. Win the first 3, maybe lose the first 1. Lose your 6, beat Rutgers, lose 2. But no, that wouldn't. The math.
Explain
math.
yourself, Thomas and Lincoln. You kind of
Yeah,
suspect
math ain't
you're
math.
giving math ain't math.
Yeah, math ain't math in there.
Yeah.
Unless you think Iowa's the win.
At Iowa.
Yeah.
I would.
This is the first blowout game in a while last season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Iowa's always going to be like it's going to be
bare knuckle.
Yeah, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
because they're going to play it that way. So you just got to be able to, withstand it.
Doug and Bennett 8-4. Hope the 4 are close.
Yeah, 8-4. If they 8-4 with this schedule, just at least looking on paper, would be a really good season.
The path to 8-4 would be, I think you win the first 5. And then
beat Washington. That's
I think you got to win then 4 or 3 out of the 5 of Indiana, Washington, or 3. Win 3 of the 4 of Indiana, Washington, Illinois, Iowa.
Yeah, I look at it like this. Say you are 5-0.
Yeah,
Indiana,
and then Rutgers is factored in, I guess. So.
Then you beat Washington, Illinois, Rutgers. That's your 8 for sure. Like on paper, but I also think that Iowa game brings it into play. Obviously, Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana are going to be uphill battles, but those are the only 3 games you're getting off the bus. Like, all right, we got to play some really good football.
Scaper says make a bowl game. Mark in Holland says Nebraska needs its transfers to be standouts and a vast improvement from 25 just to be 7-5. A bowl win would decide if we improve. That's kind of funny coming off the conversation we had around the Las Vegas Bowl, where a win felt like gravy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that bowl game is a little bit different, but right now when you think about it, like you don't have to worry about the portal opening up again. And I know we're up against the break. Is that you have to make sure the guy that you're paying money to, which seems like a pretty sizable investment, both in retention, guys that you're retaining, guys that are getting re-upped or whatever that were here last year, and the guys that you're bringing in, they have to play well.
Yeah,
and they got to play well, and I don't mean play well. In the first 3 games. Like, I'm not trying to see, of course, do your thing. But I don't need you to I don't want to hear any media guys trying to anoint people after, like, Ohio, Bowling Green, or North Dakota, or even Michigan State and Maryland. What I'm paying, what I would be wanting to pay you for I expect those games should be a guarantee. I expect Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, the rest of the season, I expect to be hearing, especially defensively or whatever. I need to be hearing your name, and I don't need your name to be called when you're jumping on the pile. I need you to make impact plays consistently all game.
First to the floor, sort of thing.
And that's the thing. And so if you're able to do that, then 8-4 is on the table and everything else.
Thomas and Lincoln did the math, by the way. He said, 4 straight losses, win, lose at Michigan State, beat Maryland. Then you lose the 4 in a row. You beat Rutgers, lose to Ohio State and at Iowa. That's how the math is mathing.
I'm gonna have to math. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna math on that math.
Math it up.
Yeah, math on that math. Then Thomas and Lincoln, I'll give you my thoughts on that. Jim and Crowbait, we'll get to you too. Waterboy as well. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Every winter, I struggle with feeling sluggish and down. I've read about the benefits of red light systems, but trying the Spectrum 7 at MaxTan has become my bright spot. A few sessions of full body red light, and I'm more energized and centered. It's my go-to winter boost, MaxTan.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, for brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get 1 half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to the Spring Equipment and Technology Clinic February 3rd through the 5th at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney. New this year, the planter and sprayer clinics are combined into one streamlined, hands-on event built around growers' time and needs. Get expert training on John Deere planters and sprayers on topics including maintenance, technology, and autonomy. Don't miss it, February 3rd through the 5th in Kearney. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for details.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Schedule release time. Everybody's going to spend the next, so let's just say February to July, August, picking the Nebraska schedule before we even play.
Oh, yeah.
Losing a lot of sleep.
Pouring over the data.
Yeah, figuring it all out.
Waiting for Phil Steele.
Yeah, and see if somebody slides down to Vegas and then come back and tells them, well, this is what I did, right? Trying to influence everybody, on the over or unders. But, I mean, the schedule's a schedule. You got to, process and a plan what you got to look forward to. Everybody has the same thoughts and aspirations right now, which is to be national champs, that you can win every game on your schedule. You definitely do not, lift all them weights and run all the sprints and hills or whatever they're doing. Hey, this is what we're going to do, all this hard work and stuff like that to go, 4-8. So everybody has the same goals. And so, really, they got to form as a team. They got to figure out who they are, what they want to do. And then they got to take it week by week. It's a tough schedule. There ain't no doubt about it. But it's not going to change. As many times you tell, oh, this schedule sucks or it's tough, and then you might have a little bit of regret because you weren't disciplined enough in 2025. You can't do anything but learn from that and move forward. So they're going to have to play with their big boy pads, though. This is big-time football, and this is what you come to Nebraska for. And this is what you get paid, according to the uptick in NIL. This is what you get paid for. And so I will tell you, nobody feels sorry for you. You should not want anybody to feel sorry for you. Their expectations and standards should be and will be higher, no matter the schedule. And it's up to you to make sure every single day that you think you're too tired or don't want to put in extra work, understand it's what you have to do, because the payoff will be big time if it's handled correctly.
Dan Coyote on YouTube says, good teams see all of this as an opportunity. I don't care who we play. That's all fine and well in theory. It's all fine and well for the team to say and the coach to say. But I'm done giving this program the benefit of the doubt. You're right. If Nebraska is a good team, of course it's an opportunity, right? Nebraska could be an improved football team and end up with a worse record just because of the schedule, the way it sets up for them. But I'm not willing to call Nebraska a good team yet, right? Good to me is, 8-4 to 9-3. Right? Maybe Nebraska could have been there, record-wise, but we talked about the issues that we saw, the chinks in the armor for Nebraska that led to things unraveling the way they did at the end of last year. And I know it's not the same team, not a bunch of carryover, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah, of course it's an opportunity for Nebraska if they're the team that they believe that they're going to be and if they're improved. But if Nebraska's not improved, well, then it does look like a challenge. And the team will view it as, a healthy challenge, one to meet the moment for. And Dan Coyote, did I call them a good team? I think it was implied. Good teams see all this as an opportunity. I don't care who we play implies to me that you think Nebraska is or could be a good team, and they very well could be. But if Nebraska is a good team, they're absolutely going to have to earn it. Yes, against this schedule, right? You can't, if you're only a good team when the schedule is easy, you're not a good team.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing with, youth sports, Jay. If you're only good when you're a 14-year-old playing U14s and you're only good, in U12s when you're 12, you're just fine.
Yeah.
If you can't be good in U12s when you're 11, or if you can't be good in U14s when you're 13, sorry, you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
If you can only be a quote unquote good team and have a pretty record against a manageable, convenient schedule, sure, it plays into it for every team. Scheduling matters. When you get teams matters. But if that's your biggest rationale and the biggest dependence you have on being a good team, then you're not a good team.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get to where, everybody says they want to get to, the expectations, the standards, whether it's from when I played back in the, I played in the 90s, but 80s and 70s and 60s before that, and obviously shortly after, and then, periodics, winning with, Bo Pelini, and after, obviously Bo, after Frank, but more importantly, Bo Pelini is the last, kind of consistent winner. The schedule is a schedule, and it is an opportunity. It's not, you should be, if I was a player on the team and I was coming in competing for a spot, right? So if I was a linebacker and I'm thinking all right, first and foremost, I got to win this starting spot. Second is I know I'm playing all game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm preparing for that. I'm going to bring guys along with me, and whether it's by asking them or forcing them to prepare the right way for us to do something special.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to put in the work. We're going to put in the work. It'll be worth it. And the schedule is just an opportunity, like they said, just to showcase everybody what you know. And sometimes it's at higher stakes, right? But it's still a game. It's still running, blocking, tackling, the same coverages. Now you're just going to be a little bit more juice going to it, but that's what you should be living for. If you don't want to play against good competition and beat good competition, that's where I think the change has to be. Beating somebody, have the joy in the process to beat people and break them. Then Nebraska football probably isn't for you.
Right.
It's just not. And that's nothing wrong with that, because there is a place for you, but it's just not.
Can't be here.
Because it's too much at stake. You got a high price roster. Everybody's in revenue sharing or whatever. And then you got, I'm sure they get paid somehow outside of it. So if you can't handle that, or if it makes you and I get it, I'm talking, and I'm not talking about the fans that is, come after players and say, oh, you suck after you, say you drop a pass or you're not playing, they think that, because half the time, the majority of the time, the fans don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm not talking about that. But if the expectations are too high that you answer the bell every day, and you think a change of scenery is going to do that, well, I got another thing to tell you, that college football, or big time college football, is not for you. And really, the way college football is morphed into, FCS and even some places Division II really isn't for you, because they're getting a trickle down effect.
Right.
And so those are all the things that you work out and hash out, in the locker room, in the weight room, on the, on the field, or wherever they do their speed and agility work. But this time right now is not for the faint. It shouldn't be for the faint of heart. This is where you have to be able to push yourself. You got to know who's going to battle with you. And that's why, and I know practices have changed and you can't do it as much, but that's why you got to make it as challenging as possible, because the only way you're going to know who you can trust and who is really invested in it is by putting them through it.
Yeah.
And the payoff is going to be able to, go against the defending national champions in Indiana and see a team that's already a national champion where you say you want to be, right? And see where you're at. And maybe you beat them.
Where you say you want to be.
Right. But you get to see it, though. One thing is to see Indiana play Ohio State for the Big Ten championship, or, beat Purdue, or, when they beat Iowa or Penn State game. Another thing is we're going to compete.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can sit there and watch. You go oh, man, I would have made that play. Oh, Austin, man, that's cover 3. You should be out there. Well, now I got to be out there.
But guess what? You're not.
But I got to be out there now, though, because we're going to play them.
Yeah.
You're going to see what the process is like. You're going to see if they're bigger, faster, and stronger. And then you get another chance to go on a nationally televised game, whether it's Big Ten or whatever, up to Oregon. They're going to come out with fancy uniforms. You get to play. This is a schedule, it's a selling point. Right. And right. So I think that the mindset needs to change from playing to competing, and there's a drastic difference because when you're a competitor, you compete every day. When you're situational or circumstantial, like you're talking about, and which is circumstances, you like to play against, the Bowling Greens and all them. No, we like the big games.
Yeah,
we need it. That's what should get you going, and so it's a great opportunity to see where they're at.
It sure is, and this feels in some ways like a measuring stick year for a bunch of players. I mean, it's always going to be, depending on the season, a measuring stick in some way for everyone on the roster. But man, there is a lot of opportunity on the schedule. If Nebraska has improved, if Nebraska has treated the early stages of winter conditioning as seriously as it needs to, if Nebraska goes through spring ball and everything meshes, that's my biggest thing is there's just so many ifs, so many hypotheticals that I don't want to stop fans from talking themselves into because it's all possible in, the year of our Cignetti, what AC1 now, I guess this would be, year one after Kurt Cignetti wins a title at Indiana. Anything should be on the table. I won't argue that, right? There's no reason that Nebraska can't be better than it has been. Shock the world if you want to go that far.
Right.
But Nebraska's got to prove that those reasons exist, right? We can't hope or wish or dream them into fruition for this team. They've got to be the ones to make it come true.
What does that look like? Text line, what does that look like?
Being better?
Prove it to you.
Prove it to you?
Like what you're saying, what does it look like? Because it could be very broad, right? But what does that look like to you?
Well, let's just go over the schedule again, just briefly, right? Handle business in whatever terms that is for the first three.
Yeah, just get the dub.
Go on the road.
No, hold on. Before you talk about Michigan State, is it just get the W's or does it got to be aesthetically pleasing?
Handle business.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to have to be, 70-0 or 63-6.
It just needs to be a clean victory and understand that you were the better team.
Leave no doubt.
Okay.
Right. Leave no doubt. That's all you got to do. Okay.
All right.
Then Michigan State. Make them feel like they're in year one of a new coach, right? It can be tough. It won't be easy, right? There's the Fitzgerald DNA. Michigan State's on scholarship too. But just leave no doubt that you're the better team, right? Maybe the score's a little bit closer than the non-con. Maryland, hold serve at home. Indiana, there's your first chance, at a big dog. You want to prove you're legit? Handle home field, right? Because your road games at Oregon, going to be tough. At Illinois, I agree with you, probably the right year to get them if you're going to, but still tough. And I think Bielema's kind of got it rolling there, where there's a relatively high floor for Illinois. Ohio State on the road, that's going to be tough. There's your next chance. On the road at Iowa, I think there are enough opportunities for Nebraska at home that to me, if you're going to prove it to people.
Is it a win or are you close? That's the main question.
That's the thing. I think for me this year, it's another, just be close, right? Prove that there are steps in the right direction. I have faith in Indiana to win, 9+ games this year, almost blindly with what they've done with Cignetti, right? They're looking at Nebraska as a win, as they should. I think Nebraska's circling Indiana as an opportunity. Back-to-back home games. You like to think that, you can take care of Maryland in a normal Big Ten game and then put a lot of the chips in the basket for the last home game before the bye against Indiana. Come out of the bye refreshed and, welcome Washington to town, hopefully for a night game on Halloween. And then you go from there, right? I think if you can find a way, you can't tell me that 3-1 in November is off the table, but it's highly unlikely with the way Nebraska has performed down the stretch in November recently. If you're telling me Nebraska goes 3-1 and wins all the road games in November, that's a huge step in the right direction for this program.
Right.
However unlikely it may seem. So, I think the first step to me for proving that you're a good team is win more than 50% of your coin flip games, right? And I think Nebraska won about 50% of those coin flip games last year. But if you can win, 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7, quote unquote, coin flip games, if there are that many on the schedule, you got to do more than break even. Win a game maybe you're not supposed to if that's Indiana. Maybe it's Ohio State if they get, the trap game syndrome coming against Michigan, which again is highly unlikely. There's a lot of ways that Nebraska can prove to me that they're better. At some point, it's got to start coming with wins and losses, and I think the easiest way to do that is to hold serve at home. Yeah,
it could be. I mean, it's there's a lot of you can talk yourself in or out of whatever you get to the end of the season 6, 7, 8, 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, they got to handle business. There's a lot of winnable games on there. Obviously, 3 very, very tough games. Like you could say at Iowa as well, right? So 4 tough games. Now you got 8 other games. That's where you got to make your meat,
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you got to think, okay, if we handle our business in those 8, of the 4 games, I'd like to think, that we can get at least 1 or 2 victories. Then you're thinking about, okay, magical season, right? Because the days of going undefeated fully is probably off the table. Even though Indiana did it this year, it probably won't happen for years to come. So we shall see. Send in more texts. We'll read them. We're going to take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy before we turn it over to Bill Mitchner and the Lighthouse here at 6 p.m. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Clear your calendar. It's a volleyball weekend in Omaha. Love Nebraska returns to Baxter Arena for back-to-back home matches on January 30th and February 1st, facing Love Madison and Love Austin. 2 matches, 2 chances to see your hometown team compete as the season heats up. Featuring Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson taking on the likes of Lauren Carlini and Maddie Skinner, and special moments throughout the weekend. This is your opportunity to catch all the action live. Make it one night or both nights. Get your tickets now at lobbneb.com/tickets.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. Right now at Anderson Ford, lease a 2025 Ford Escape for $222 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 4003618. Lease for $222 per month for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 5,000 plus first payment due at signing. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 2226.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to the Spring Equipment and Technology Clinic February 3rd through the 5th at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney. New this year, the planter and sprayer clinics are combined into one streamlined, hands-on event built around growers' time and needs. Get expert training on John Deere planters and sprayers on topics including maintenance, technology, and autonomy. Don't miss it. February 3rd through the 5th in Kearney. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for details.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes a complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
All right, fellas, it's January. You're setting goals, you're hitting the gym, but have you checked what's going on inside the engine? At Advanced Medical Imaging, the Wellness Within program makes it easy. They have different levels of preventive scans so you can choose exactly what fits your health goal. From quick baseline checks to full body insights. It's simple, it's smart, and it's all about keeping you in top form before problems ever sneak up. And the best part, you don't need a doctor's order. Just call AMI to schedule and make this the year you put your health on the schedule.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans, let's put numbers together, let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. A couple minutes. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Again, before we turn it over to Bill Mitchell and the Lighthouse, doing great things. Be on the lookout. We've got a golf tournament in June 8th, and obviously Big Red Beacon Bash. We will be there in full effect. Also, we'll have some other fundraising for it because a lot of good things going on with the Lighthouse. Appreciate them allowing me to partner with them and be a part of what they do, which is great. I'm going to read some text here. Austin, galore. Pumpkin, Great Pumpkin says, what success means in 2026 is we all win all non-conference and win 4 to 5 games in the big. But this only applies if we start playing hard, tackle properly, create an offense identity, and show real progress in developing players. So 8 wins. Gorilla Bear says our coach is paid as a top 15 coach, so you has to go 8-4. So that kind of coincides. It's kind of like with NIL. They say that what you spend and your recruiting numbers should be kind of where you should end up as your end of the season ranking. So, Waterboy says he'd be fine with 7-5, 8-4. I think everybody would with this schedule. Man. So, Thomas and Lincoln is talking about Texas. I don't really care about Texas. Let me see. Jim should get 6 wins, no more than 9. Well, that's easy. I mean, that means either become bowl eligible or have a really good year. Because if you win 9 games with that schedule, it's only 12-team playoffs. You might be able to sneak in, depending on what aesthetically the 3 losses are like.
Right. And when you look at that schedule, it seems like if you get a marquee win, you probably trade in a mediocre
loss. Like if you beat Indiana, Oregon, or Ohio State and say you kind of stub your toe at Illinois or something like Rutgers, say it's like a walk-off field goal or something.
The case for 9-3 Nebraska in the college football playoff would be probably lose to Michigan State. If that's a Friday game, you lose early.
And then you go on a run.
Yeah,
and you have a signature victory.
Right.
Yeah.
And my guess would be that would be close loss to Indiana, close loss at Oregon, and then clipping Ohio State at the end of the year as part of your run, kind of culminating your run. and then going on the road validating with a short.
Yeah.
But even then,
you got to, but also in between those, because it's either Ohio State or the Oregon win, but in between those games, you got to blow somebody out. So you'd have to blow Indiana or Illinois out or Rutgers,
which doesn't happen often to those teams.
But if you do that, that's how you get in there.
Those are bonus,
right? Because you're not like Vanderbilt, where they didn't beat any top teams and they're trying to like back the way, or like Tennessee or somebody like that. You have signature victories. You've learned from your loss, so forth and so on. And if it was a fluke victory up there at Michigan State, you'll be able to survive, especially if you're able to hold serve or beat one of those teams at home or possibly out at Oregon. So appreciate your text. We'll get more. And tomorrow we'll be back. I think Kevin Meyer will be back tomorrow, right?
Should be. Haven't heard otherwise.
The weekly holiday of Kevin coming in, Myers Cork and Bottle. I appreciate him coming in Thirsty Thursdays. But from Jay Foreman, my man Austin Norman, Old School, we'll holler at you tomorrow.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Clear your calendar. It's a volleyball weekend in Omaha. Love Nebraska returns to Baxter Arena.